in a garbage can. Box is Gary Baumgarten.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Chris.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Hang
I'm
on. I'm getting
fine.
a call. 1 second.
Good morning to everybody. Good morning to you. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. We got a lot to do today, obviously. Nick started the morning on our call before the show calling me names because I went out and snowblowed early this morning. Like early. It's probably a little too, but I got to get we had like 7 or 8 inches of snow. I wouldn't be able to get out of our driveway or our garage if I, didn't have, if I didn't have it cleared. So Nick's calling me names. So we're going to have you settle it. I need your help on this because I guess I don't know the protocol. Maybe there's a specific, there's a set of rules that need to be followed and I just missed it. So we'll talk about that coming up. Also, to start the show here in a couple minutes, a number of mayors across the country met with the Biden administration this week, or late last week, I should say. And while Republicans on Capitol Hill don't necessarily want his stimulus package, his $1.9 trillion relief plan, mayors across the country, specifically GOP mayors, are into it. So we'll get to that coming up as well. Mark, good morning. Looking forward to a great show. Yes. We're happy to have you with us. So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that.
The community. We need more funding assistance to help provide more services and reach deeper into the community so that all of our community members have access to these services regardless of income. Please help us by making a small donation or a large donation. Here's how you can do it. Go to our website at www.mediation-omc.org and click the donate button at the top. Join us in empowering people to resolve their own conflicts and take control back of their lives, creating a better and stronger community.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR. Now sitting in for Frank Beckmann, here's Chris Renwick.
I just didn't expect, at 7 o'clock in the morning, we're getting ready for the show. Nick Roddy's helping me out. And he's yelling at me because I went out and cleared my driveway too early. So we'll talk about it. We will. We'll talk about it. I guess I don't know the protocols when snow blowing and how early it needs to be, or at what time you can finally fire up the snowblower to where it's not you're not making your neighbors angry. So we'll talk about it. I need your help on it, and we need you to clear this up. In the meantime,
all spending more time at home these days. I know many of us have thoughts about updating or renovating. I recently met with a company preferred by WJR's great inside-outside guys called Motor City Floors and Coatings. I learned that they've transformed thousands of homes and businesses with their own innovative concrete coating system. By innovative, I mean they are the actual scientists behind the product. They make garage and basement floors become extended living spaces and help businesses like my friends at Marygrove Awnings, transform their warehouse. Be great for a showroom floor as well. The Motor City Floors and Coatings concrete coating system, 4 times stronger than epoxy.
Give us a test.
Hello, check 1, check 2. Hello. Oh, a little technical difficulties to start the show. Okay. All right. Are you hearing me, Nick? Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Yes, no, affirmative. All right. Well, Mark, Bill, everybody watching, bear with us here. We'll get this thing figured out and running here. Oh, Richard. Well, okay, look, if that's your reaction to I was snow blown before 7 a.m. So maybe I'm in the wrong here. I don't know. Are we live, Nick? All right, hold on. He's trying to mime to me what's going on. Are we in a spot? We're in a commercial here? Okay. Then just throw the studio up when we're ready to go.
We're going to replay the open.
Okay, we'll start it up again.
They assisted my family. Let Senior Health Medicare become your local experts. Visit seniorhealthmedicare.com today for your no obligation review. Call 248-230-8595. That's 248-230-8595.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR. Now sitting in for Frank Beckmann, here's Chris Renwick.
All right, are we on? Check 1, 2. All right, hey. All right, little technical difficulties to start the show, but we're up and running. Look, we got a lot to do, so I'm going to get right to it. I've got a problem with our producer, Nick Roddy, calling me names about snow blowing. We'll get to that coming up at 9:18. But I want to get to this story because I found this in the Washington Post, and it was, look, we know the Biden administration is proposing this $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief plan. And they've talked about the importance, and they've talked about how they want to get it to the American people as soon as possible. And they're going to go forward with impeachment and delay it and whatever. We covered that yesterday. But today, the interesting thing about this piece in the Washington Post was, while Senate and congressional Republicans aren't buying this, they don't want it. They don't want the Biden stimulus plan, the Biden relief plan. There are, however, a number of GOP mayors in some big cities across the country that are into this. They want it. And I thought, look, I want to make sure we get somebody on this. And I thought, hey, you know who we should talk to? Brian Barnett, the mayor out in Rochester Hills, who is, I suppose now, technically, the past president of the United States Conference of Mayors. And Mayor Barnett on the other line, on the other end of our line this morning. Brian, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for hanging with us here. So I guess my question to you is, you're a Republican mayor. Where do you stand on the Biden stimulus plan? I know you weren't necessarily in D.C. with some of these other mayors, including Mayor Mike Duggan, just the other day. But from what you can see, what are you into about this plan, and is it something that you would like to see passed on Capitol Hill?
Yeah, sure. Great question. Well, obviously one of the unique things about being the mayor, and I am familiar with the letter. We had almost over 420 mayors sign it, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, was because till now, cities, unless they're over 500,000 in terms of population, which is just one city in Michigan, of course, the city of Detroit, have not received any direct federal assistance from the federal government for anything related to COVID. And of course, as you might imagine, we've had some unpredicted expenses, significant unpredicted expenses, significant unrealized revenue because of everything that had to be shut down. And frankly, still City Hall at this moment is still shut down to the public. So, it's not, for a lack of trying or for any other, mismanagement reasons. I think that's why mayors recognize, Republicans and Democrats, that there is a financial need for assistance for our small businesses, for municipalities, for the folks that we employ. It's really been a challenging 10, almost 12 months now. And so I think that's why you see, Republican mayors joining with other of their colleagues to support something, to support some level of federal assistance. It's not about wins and losses for us. I know in Washington, there's a much different system, and it's difficult to support the other side for whatever reason.
Yeah,
going either direction. But here it's about getting something for our residents.
Well, that's an interesting dichotomy you make, because certainly at the federal level, there's a lot more political games being played, right? Whereas as you, the mayors, are on the ground. I mean, these are your communities. You live in these communities. You represent the people in these communities, and you see the need firsthand. Whereas maybe representatives or state senators, they're not quite. They don't have the view necessarily that you do. I guess my question is, you as the mayors, and look, I think you start talking about some of the folks that were at this meeting. You got the Miami mayor, Francis Suarez, and the Oklahoma City mayor, David Holt. I mean, these are mayors of large cities, huge, massive communities. And even they're saying, look, we need the help. We see people that need the help. Stop with the political games here. We know people. We're friends with people in the community that need the help.
Yeah, I know Mayor Suarez and Mayor Holt personally very well. In fact, I was texting both of them in the last probably 48 hours. Like myself, the three of us are fiscal conservatives. You know, we agree on most things in terms of how you should run a budget and being a strong and conservative fiduciary of the people's money. But this is a different situation. Think back to what Michigan went through when there were some bailouts back in the day, 10 years ago, and most of them were due to questionable decisions or longstanding issues, structural deficits, and challenges. This is different. This is not those types of bailouts. This is not something that cities did unto themselves. This is something that happened to our nation. And you mentioned Miami being a huge city. They're not 500,000 people. So even a city like Miami hasn't received direct federal assistance as of yet. And so I think that's why this is different. This is, we're three strong financial conservatives saying, something has happened in our economy that has changed the way that we do business, and we're trying to do what we can. We want there to be strong financial controls in any time that the government money is involved, that taxpayer dollars are involved. But this is certainly something unique that we haven't seen in 100 years, and I don't think that the federal assistance. I think we've made the case that the need is there, and now we just need Washington to hopefully move on that need.
Unfortunately, time is short, Mayor Barnett. But my last question is: do you wish, or would you hope that there is some the tenor changes in Washington to better reflect kind of how the mayors think? Like, look, let's get this done for people as opposed to playing political games.
100%. I think we need Washington to look more like Rochester Hills than vice versa. And I think the people want that too. I'm confident of that. That's why I move boldly in the things that I do.
Yeah. Good stuff. I appreciate you weighing in and giving us your thoughts on this, because it's an interesting story. Mayors are in favor of this Biden relief plan, specifically Republican mayors across the country. Well, it's a different story on Capitol Hill. Brian Barnett, Mayor of Rochester Hills, former, now past president of the United States Conference of Mayors. We always appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Yep, you too. All right, more to come here on the Frank Beckmann Show, but at 9:15, we got to get an update on our road situation. I know it's slippery, I know it's snowy, but Dana Clark's going to keep us on top of it all. Dana, good morning.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
It's a new year, but for kids in poverty around the world, things are still desperate. Join Compassion with your one-time $40 gift to provide a COVID relief kit to a family in poverty. Text the word GIVE to 83393. That's GIVE to 83393.
Good morning, Chris. Yes, it has been a slippery commute out there. We continue to add accidents. 696 westbound at Groesbeck. 2 left lanes are blocked. 275 northbound at Ecorse Road, left shoulder blocked there. 275 southbound, blocking that right shoulder. 94 west. 94. This is in Jackson. Accident blocks a left lane. Jeffries, 96 westbound ramp to 275 northbound. Watch for an accident on that ramp. Now, WJ.
We're losing Dana a little bit.
Getting with the bitter cold air. If anything, we're getting reinforced with bitter cold air, and a winter storm warning is in place here for the scattered snow that's around, scattered snow showers and flurries. That's until noon today. We'll get into the afternoon hours, and we'll see things settle down, but still leftover flurry snow shower. 19 degrees. Some clouds give way to a clear sky tonight, 5 below. Tomorrow, increasing clouds, 21. Snow showers Thursday, 28. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stidgick on News Talk 760 WJR.
Hi, this is Guy Gordon. Weather can be unpredictable.
Nick, good morning.
We're down.
The interesting thing about this story with the mayors, I do find it a little, I guess I'm a little hopeful that there will be something done on both the Democrat and Republican side of Washington, D.C. You've got mayors, Republican mayors across the country saying, look, we got to do something. We see it every day. We see the ramifications of whatever, be it political moves, be it, the governor's dictums being, just closing down restaurants, whatever it is, there is a need for assistance here with people, and whether and maybe it's not even on a business front. Maybe it's somebody needs help paying their mortgage. Maybe this $1,400 will really help. Look, I'm not saying that we got to keep handing out stimulus money, but there has to be something that can be done to help these people. And so I find it interesting that a lot of GOP mayors across the country are raising their hand, going like, "Look, we know that this needs to happen. We are in support of this if this is what it takes." And that's certainly not the message among the Republicans on Capitol Hill. So very interested to see how this is going to play out over the next, I guess I don't know.
If that changes anything, if it speeds the process up, or
I guess I'm not sure if it'll speed it up, but certainly at least get the ball, rolling a little further. See, here's something that's concerning to me. Richard Burton says, my neighbor was snow blowing at 7 a.m. with a couple of emojis that would lead me to believe that he's not going to be really happy with how early I was snow blowing.
No.
Phil Harrison, somebody
Maybe it's your neighbor.
Maybe I don't think I have a Richard as my neighbor.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR. Now sitting in for Frank Beckmann, here's Chris Renwick.
All right, 800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. That's the number for you to call or text. Certainly, if you want to weigh in on that story and that conversation with Brian Barnett, the mayor of Rochester Hills, feel free. I mean, I'm really interested to know what you think about that, because it is interesting that the representatives closest to the people, the mayors of communities, in this case, Republican mayors, are going, look, we see the need in our communities. We live with people in our communities that need help. We see it. Our restaurants, our businesses are hemorrhaging. I got people that can't pay their bills. I got people that can't pay their mortgage or their car payments. I mean, things are really, we're at a breaking point in that respect for a lot of people. And yes, you could call it, political moves that got us there. But we're here nonetheless, and unfortunately, we have to deal with it. So feel free, 800-859-0957. I'd love your input on it. But I got to bring this up because I talked a little bit about it with Paul, and generally, we've kind of given you the inside baseball on some of this stuff, right? Like we talk before the show, just try to make sure everything else is ironed out and whatever. So I told Nick Roddy, good morning. I hope you're on there with me. Okay. All right. So we talked this morning, and I said, Stephanie, my wife, who runs a clinic for one of our hospitals here in Southeast Michigan, she was getting ready to go, but she was leaving a little earlier than normal because of the roadways. So I said, I told you that I needed to, we park in the garage. So I needed to snow blow our driveway to clear it off, because we got like 8 inches of snow. So I'm like, I gotta clear up the driveway so she can get out and go to work. And you were very mean to me. I mean, you were really harsh.
I mean, I hadn't had my coffee yet. So,
okay.
Well, I still stand by my stance. What time were you snow blowing?
Okay. So look, generally my wife she usually is in the office by like 7:15, I think. And so
you're still rolling over probably.
Well, so I said, okay, look, I'll get up. I'll set my alarm for like 5:30, and I will, I'll fire it up. And by probably, I had a cup of coffee. So by probably like 10 to 6 o'clock, I was making stripes down to the street. You were, like I said, you were mean to me. You called me all kinds of dirty names that we can't even talk about here on the air. And you think that's too early.
Way too
Why
early.
is that? Why
Have
is
you
that
heard
too
of
early?
a shovel? It's
I
only
have a shovel.
Neolithic age, like 12,000 years ago.
Okay, I have a shovel. So you expect me to shovel at 6 a.m. as opposed to just firing up the snowblower and just hitting it for 10 minutes?
Yes. You don't need to do the whole driveway. You just need a little path out of the garage and to the street.
All right. Well, here's the other thing. So I take, my mother, God bless her, watches Jake for me during when I'm doing the show. So I got to take Jake to my mom's. So I needed my car. I need a path for my car as well. I needed to just do the whole driveway.
It's the same path.
I'm in the driveway. How am I going to get to her spot? I look. Do I kind of think that 6 o'clock is too early? Yes. We're talking to the folks here on StreamYard. If you want to tune into the show that way, you can watch it on Facebook or YouTube. And you can watch me, get berated by Nick in the breaks or whatever. But so I got somebody on here, Richard. He says, my neighbor was snow blowing at 7 a.m. And he put a bunch of angry emojis. So Richard certainly is not happy with me. Do I need to take a tray of cookies to my neighbor's house to apologize? What do I need to do in your mind, Nick?
You need to shovel more than once. You need to do one before you go to bed.
I hit the snowblower last night as well. I did a preliminary run.
Inches of snow this morning.
Huh?
If you hit the snowblower last night at 11 o'clock, I still think that's acceptable. So there should not have been 8 inches this morning when you woke up if you hit it last night.
Okay, so then what's the cutoff at night? Is there a cutoff at night? I got one of my neighbors here. Actually, I got one of my neighbors here has kids, little kids. So is 11 o'clock too late to be snow blowing?
No.
Okay,
so the snow started so late last night.
Right.
Okay. Start till 7, 8 o'clock.
So I wasn't out that late. I probably started last night at I don't know. It was probably 8 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock. So that's fine. I think that is acceptable.
Yeah, but so we got a comment on StreamYard. It says, "Oh, Chris, just snow blow the neighbors' driveways too. They won't mind the noise."
Okay, fair enough. I thought about it, but I needed to prepare for the show. I couldn't do that. I did do our sidewalks. I did do a big strip of sidewalk. Look, I know 6 o'clock is early. I get it. I understand. I didn't have a choice. Now I could have gotten up at 4:30 and shoveled the driveway. I'm not. Look, I'm not doing it. I got things to do. I got to sleep. I gotta get Jake ready in the morning. What's the earliest you can start snow blowing? In your mind, what is it?
I say 7.
7 is the number.
Yeah.
What about on the weekends? Does it change? Do you feel it's different on the weekends?
No.
So you think 7 across the board?
I think you're good.
Well, I was a whole hour earlier than that. Look, maybe I don't know. Maybe my neighbors will.
Yeah, why don't you go in
maybe I should ask them.
Yeah.
Maybe I should ask them. But look, you can weigh in on this too. 800-859-0957. Nick's calling me names this morning. So I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong here. But then, here.
Do you feel bad about it?
Huh?
Do you feel bad about it? Do you feel guilty?
No, at all.
Okay.
No, at all. I don't feel bad. No, I don't feel bad at all. But I'm a cold, heartless person.
That's true.
Well, hold on. I got to weigh on this, Chris.
All right, Jason Fissler.
There's no time limit. Your wife had to get out to go to work, right?
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what time you snow blow. Did the neighbors knock on your door and say, "Hey, you're being too noisy"?
No, I never saw my neighbors when I was snowboarding.
Yeah, so don't listen to this Nick guy.
So I'm good. All right. Okay, good. Here we go. That's perfect.
You got to get out. Because I left this morning and I almost got stuck 3 feet out of my garage.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. And then I got to push a van out of the driveway? I'm not doing that. Here's the thing.
Or use a shovel.
You know what would happen? What the spin would be? It was Chris Renwick at WJR doesn't like frontline workers. Making frontline workers late.
Your own wife.
So there you go. That's on the table for you. You can hit the COVID stimulus plan, the relief plan. GOP mayors love it. GOP congressional reps, not so much. So that's there for you. We got a lot coming up still. We're going to talk to Debbie Dingle on the side. She's helping out some frontline workers today by delivering fatty, delicious pastries, it being Fat Tuesday. And I got to ask her about Andrew Cuomo. We're going to talk about this new commission Nancy Pelosi's talking about. We got a lot to cover. Don't go anywhere. 800-859-0957. That's the number for you to call or text. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can hop in on the action there. However, lots of snow, lots of slippery out there. What's the latest? We'll go with Dana Clark. Dana.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. It's the President's Day sale at Mattress Firm. Save up to $500 when you get a king bed for a queen price from brands like Sealy and Sleepy's. Plus, get a free adjustable base when you spend $6.99 during the President's Day sale at Mattress Firm.
Well, it is quite busy out there, to say the least. We do have a few things that are out of your way, but let's start with the things that are in your way. Closed due to multiple accidents, 75 southbound between Joslyn Road and Lapeer Road. Avoid the area. Once again, multiple accidents reported. 696 westbound at Groesbeck, accident blocking your two left lanes. 275 northbound at Ecorse Road, accident blocks the left shoulder. 696 eastbound at Telegraph, right shoulder is blocked there. 696 eastbound at Coolidge, accident blocking the left lane. 94 westbound at Livernois, watch for a disabled vehicle blocking that exit ramp. And Jeffries, 96 westbound at 275, accident on your 96 westbound ramp to 275 northbound. Now, WJR interior.
All right, let's see here. Nick is mean to me. I think people want to bash Nick. Let's see. Let's see here. We're working on the antenna, Phil. I promise. Good morning, Maria. Good to see you. Richard says, what happened to the sweet neighbor kid doing driveways for money at a reasonable $8 to $5 hour, 8 to 5? Just gave my age away, right? Yeah. And do kids online school. I thought about that last night too. I saw the story.
Yeah.
That schools were already canceling. And I thought, how can you ever justify canceling on a snow day now? All the infrastructure is placed to learn from home.
Job seekers throughout.
Well, they're doing both. They're doing virtual and in person. So.
Done. You don't even nobody comes in. We'll just do it all virtually today. Is the snow day going to become extinct? What?
No,
they got it figured out now.
There more than 300.
Well, you'd have to think like, because people were at home learning, kids at home learning. I mean, parents made arrangements for that. So if like a snowstorm comes randomly, there aren't the plans for that. So maybe not. Jim, good morning to you. Bill says
that guy can help with your snow blowing. This little fella.
Plow just went down my road. Yes. Oh, what a cutie. Plow just went down my road to make single lane. Haven't shoveled mine yet. Yeah, she was in and out. I think people want to be fair, but they don't want to pay off all the state's malfeasance. Well, sure, I understand that. I do. But unfortunately, this is the situation we're in. These cities, counties, states need to reopen. That's the only way to get money flowing. Sure. Bill says cat fight. Yeah, kinda. If the city clears the streets in the middle of the night and the plow trucks can work before dawn, then why can't homeowners snow blow when their schedules allow? Great point, Michael. Nick, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, the plow trucks aren't that consistently noisy, and they make one pass through your road usually, and they're gone. It's not up and down the driveway for 15 minutes.
All right, fair enough. Joy says, no snow blow away, Chris. Thank you, Joy. I appreciate the support. Allie says, oh, Chris, just snow blow the neighbor's driveway too. They won't mind the noise. That's probably true. I didn't have time. I had to be prepared for you guys. I had to make sure I had the driveway clear, and then I'm coming in to get ready for the show. Don says I was shoveling at 4 a.m., but around 4:30, one of my neighbors was snow blowing. 4:30 is early. That's pretty early. Bill says you got to do what you got to do. I appreciate that, Bill. I shoveled 4 inches last night, finished at 11:30. At 4 a.m., we had another 8 inches. Karen, Frank will be back next Monday. He's on vacation this week. You need to start using a flamethrower. Your neighbors will love it. A flamethrower. That would be sweet. Where do you even get that? I don't even know. I don't think you could get a flamethrower. I'd have to be out there with like a Bic lighter. That would take a very long time. This is the snow my parents told me they walked to school in. Yes! Uphill both ways, right, Jim? Our condo snow people are around at 2 a.m. and they even do the walkway. Cool. Chris should be good. Okay. All right. Sounds like Nick is in the wrong here.
I guess we'll see when your neighbors finally wake up.
when they egg my house.
After
When they egg my
sleeping all
house.
morning, yeah.
Yeah.
You get a nice little package on your front porch.
It's gonna freeze. Rural King. What is Rural King? I've never heard of Rural King. I'll look them up. Rural King.
America's Farm and Home Store.
Wow. There's one in Heartland.
And one of Niles.
Right now, the Dow is up 121 right after the opening bell. The NASDAQ is up 55. For WJR News, I'm Marie Osborne.
Oh my gosh, there it is. It's a flamethrower.
Attention, fellow baby boomers.
How much? I have no idea where that would start. A flamethrower.
So this one, it says Bare Ground Propane Torch. $20 at Rural King. I'm going to buy one.
Wow.
I'm going to buy one. Jim, great call. They even have ones that look like pistols, like a pistol with a silencer, except at the end it's a huge torch. That one's $165.
That'll take a long time to do your whole driveway.
I'm gonna buy. They also have one at Harbor Freight. Look at these. Let me see how can I get it? There you go. You see it?
Yeah.
There it is. I'm getting them. Jim, you're the man. Appreciate you.
Wear a helmet.
Wear your helmet, yeah. GT, hope you replace Frank when he retires. So that's nice, GT. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Let's see. Michael Dwyer, the snowman, got excited when he heard the snowblower was coming. Didn't work out like he thought it would. No. He is no more. You know, it's funny. Jake and I, we were out a couple weeks ago. And we made a little snowman. It was probably only this big. It lasted forever. It was terrific. Mark, bring the marshmallows, bring the Hershey's. We'll do it upright. I know. Barbara, you're right. The heated driveway is the way to go.
The Frank Beckmann Show. News Talk 760 WJR. Now sitting in for Frank Beckmann, here's Chris Renwick.
All right, welcome back. 800-859-0957. I think the good news is I'm out at 6 o'clock, snow blowing the driveway for my wife so she can get to work. Nick Roddy, my producer, is calling me names because he thinks that's too early. I think the consensus, though, has been it's okay to snow blow at 6 o'clock in the morning if that's what you got to do. So thankfully, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear people are going against Nick Roddy. I think that's the appropriate thing to do. All right, 800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. That's the number for you to call or text. There is still a lot of business going on. I want to get right to it. And to help me cover it all, Debbie Dingell, Congresswoman of Michigan's 12th District, on the other line with us here this Fat Tuesday. Congresswoman, good morning to you.
Fat Tuesday. Good morning, Chris. It's good to see you. And I think 6 a.m. snow blowing is just fine. I'm one of those morning people. And when you got to go out, you got to get out and you got to do what you got to do.
Well, look, here's the thing. My wife works for a hospital system. She manages a clinic. If I don't get out there and snow blow and she's late to work, I'm labeled as somebody who doesn't respect frontline workers. I don't want any part of that.
I respect you in the truth, by the way. They do need. How do people think these people get to work?
I don't know.
While the rest of us are staying home, cuddly and warm, as it snows and ice is outside, they get up and go to work, and we thank them for it every single day.
Look, usually you're kind enough to bring us some punchki on Fat Tuesday to the station. Obviously, things are quite different this year. So you're taking those punchkis that you would give us and some other folks around town, and you're going out and handing it out to Frontline Workers Day. I think that's terrific. Where are you going?
We're taking them to fire, police, and hospitals. You know, the fact of the matter is, between COVID and who would have predicted that we'd have this kind of snowstorm on a day like this, we wanted to say thank you to the people that have been there for us for the last year. So it's important. I think rituals and traditions matter. I think Punchki Day's got a long tradition for people in our area. John was Polish, and I'm keeping the tradition going, but we want to all talk to each other. We want to stay in touch. It's still good. I promise you, I'll hand deliver you Punchkis next year at this time. But this year, we're sending it to the frontline workers.
I was telling your folks, I'll give you my address. You can come by, drop them off there. He said you didn't have time, so I understand.
I'll do it.
So
like right now, I'll be there.
All right, fair enough. So lots of news around the country that I want to get your thoughts on. First, Speaker Pelosi saying that she wants to create a commission to look at what happened on January 6th at the Capitol. Are you for that, or is it? Do we need to just move on from this?
No, I've been for commission like since the day after. I want to know what happened. I want to know, and I want it totally having nothing to do with anybody in the United States. Capitol. I want an objective review of security at the nation's capital. I think it is far too political. I'll tell you a story of the day before the 6th. I'm a mask freak. You know, I don't stay home. You know, I'm not shy, but I wear my mask wherever I go, wash my hands, etc. And we're supposed to not have any visitors in the Capitol at all. And on the 5th, I stopped, and there's a group of people there, and I'm saying to and not wearing masks. And I said to the officer, I thought we didn't have any visitors. How did they get in? Who are they? They're not wearing masks. And he said they came in with a member. We can't stop them. And I said, they're not wearing masks. And he goes, ma'am, we're not allowed to tell a member's guests they have to wear masks. And we have a rule in the House that, you know, anybody in the buildings has to wear masks. So I went over and told him that, and the policeman thanked me that day and said, thank you, it's my life that you're helping. We need just a cold, calculated look at security at the nation's capital. If you live in Michigan, I don't care what party you're part of, you know what some of these groups are capable of. This was online for weeks what was going to happen. Why they were not more prepared is I do not know, and I've been wanting the answer to that question since January 6th, and we need a commission that's going to study it and going to give us recommendations for security for the symbol of our nation's democracy, one of the most important symbols, and it needs to be non-political. I'm sick of politics dictating security, and I don't care who you are. You've got to follow security guidelines the way we do at airports.
Well, and that's fine. I don't know that many of your colleagues believe that, though, and probably on both sides, but certainly, you know, this unity thing has been nonsense, and at least from the, you know, the 5,000-foot view that we have, the impeachment hearing goes through. We knew it was going to fail, but they persisted nonetheless. When we hear about the need for, you talk about the president's $1.9 trillion COVID relief plan. We've heard how important that is, how much people need it, and yada yada. But we go through and we delay it because of a try. I mean, the nonpartisanship is non-existent. It doesn't seem like there's any unity. That's not there. So my worry when you start getting into a commission like this is that just continues. That flame continues to be fanned, and we don't get anywhere in the process.
So I hope that's not the case. I'm going to tell you that point blank. I have a lot of questions. Why wasn't the National Guard on call that day? And I've heard lots of different stories, and they conflict with each other. I think that if you didn't want, who said they didn't want uniformed presence on the Capitol grounds? Now it looks like we're in Afghanistan or Iran. It's horrific. I can't, we've got fences and barbed wire and National Guard all over the place. Why weren't they on standby? I want an answer to that. But I think, you can get some very good people. You could get Michael Chertoff and Jay Johnson, both former cabinet secretaries, head of Homeland Security, who are used to working with multi-jurisdictional law enforcement agencies, who will just give recommendations. I mean, the fact of the matter is, a member of Congress, Democrat or Republican, should not be able to bring anybody into the Capitol without their going through the magnetometer.
Yeah.
That should just be clear. But nobody, let's get an independent commission that knows national security to say it, and then let's follow those recommendations that aren't partisan. They're experts' advice.
Real quickly. Meanwhile, Andrew Cuomo up in the state of New York gave the most wet diaper apology for what's going on in his administration and pushing away these COVID death numbers in nursing homes, I thought. And he comes out yesterday and makes some half-hearted apology. I'm curious to know really quick what your thought is on that, and if you believe something like that is happening here in the state of Michigan.
I don't believe something's happening like that in the state of Michigan because I've been asking questions. But I'm going to tell you, it is not okay. It needs investigation, and it shines a light on a real problem that we have, which is long-term care in this country, and we need to be doing far more about it. It's one of my main goals in Congress, and I'm going to stay very focused on it and holding people accountable.
5 seconds. Have you had any indication on how long those gates are going to be up around the Capitol building?
I've been asking that question, and I suspect till at least there's rumors that something may happen March 6th. So I'm guessing that they may stay till that long, but no, nobody's giving us facts.
Debbie Dingle, thank you so much. Appreciate the time as always, and enjoy handing out those punch keys today. That's great.
I will.
All right, talk to you soon. Yep. Congresswoman Debbie Dingle here on the Frank Beckmann Show. More to come. 9:44 though. Off to the road. Always get a check there with Dana Clark.
Well, we do have.
All right, let's see. Barbara, great point. Install the heated driveway. I agree. Shelly, you're so excited. Shelly says, Chris, you're so excited. I mean, Shelly, if you've got the opportunity to just burn snow off,
vehicle blocking that exit.
That's pretty great.
Eastbound at Novi Road accident, also on that left.
I'm gonna buy. Maybe I should buy one and do a video, and then we'll post it or something.
No showers this morning. Still could be some light regulations.
Let's see here. Mark, we need to move on from this. They're consistently looking for somebody to hang on to Trump. Move on, people. We have other more important issues pending right now, Ms. Dingle. Unfortunately, you have been political. Didn't Pelosi refuse Trump's offer to bring in the National Guard? It would have ruined her plan. I've seen stories on both sides, like Trump didn't feel the need for the National Guard, and he. There's a lot of stories floating out there, so we'll talk about it. What about holding Gretchen Whitmer accountable for the same thing here in Michigan? That's what I asked. If that's the same thing going on here. She said she didn't believe so because she's been asking questions. I mean, okay. I mean, the governor came out and specifically asked for she came out and changed her policies on the matter. So there obviously was some admission that what they were doing was not proper. But with that being said, she came out and changed it. So at least there's that. That hasn't happened in the state of New York. So, they just suppressed the numbers. Attorney General said it too, by about 2/3. So, again, you can say, we were trying to facilitate, we're trying to help out the DOJ investigation, answer their questions. We put the lawmakers on, but I don't want to, okay, that's great, but you weren't even forthcoming from the get-go, which is how you found yourself in the mess that you're in. Chris, great question. As usual, did not answer. Shelly, yes, I want to see a video. That would be so cool. No, it would be fire. That's what the kids are saying these days. It would be fire. Maybe, oh, man, I should buy one. I should just go online right now and buy one. After the show, I'll put the order in. All right, let's see here. What do we got? Is Ed and Greg there? Nick, they're both there?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. The interesting part. So I don't know if you caught it there at the end, and I'll address it. There has been an uptick of National Guardsmen or National Guard out in Washington, D.C., including some of the Michigan National Guard. There had been a lot of speculation as to why they're even there. They haven't even heard there's going to be a threat. Debbie just told us March 6th that there might be something. There's rumors of something happening on March 6th. Take that for what it's worth.
You should too. Get the Oxford Gold Investment Guide today. Learn how easy it is to have real gold and silver delivered.
So I'm going to circle that.
Gold and silver in your retirement account. Call the Oxford Gold Group today at 833-600-GOLD. That's 833-600-GOLD.
The Frank Beckman Show, News Talk 760 WJR. Now sitting in for Frank Beckman, here's Chris Renwick.
800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR, the number for you to call or text. Congresswoman Lisa McClain out in the, the 10th district, I think, who took over for Paul Mitchell after he announced that he wasn't going to seek re-election. She won. And she had been asking Nancy Pelosi for a briefing about why Michigan National Guard's men and women were being deployed to Washington, D.C. They've been given no explanation why these folks are being sent out there. And so I found it particularly interesting when I asked Congresswoman Debbie Dingell just a moment ago when those gates are going to come down around the Capitol. She said that there has been chatter that maybe something could be happening March 6th. So that's the first time we've heard, a date on something that could be percolating. So we'll keep an eye on it for you. 800-859-0957. All right, let's go to the phones. Talk to Greg in Shelby Township. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Christopher.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
I got you.
Okay. Hey, Mr. Positive. Hey, real quick. Concerning the snowblower,
yeah,
Nicholas made some good points, but
he's wrong.
It was an anomaly. Yeah, but because you're right, because it was an anomaly,
right?
We do what we do. We weren't expecting this. When are the forecasters write like this? Number one. Number two, you did the responsible, nice thing. You helped your wife. You did it expeditiously as possible, expediently as possible, and you had to do what you had to do. So, but Nick was right about, making logical steps to say, okay, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. But regardless, everywhere where I live, I was hearing people at 5 o'clock in the morning.
All right. Okay. And it wasn't just me.
Spot on.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate you clearing that up. Look. Hey, if Mr. Positive says it's got to be true. I mean, look, it just is what it is. I can't control it. So I had to do what I had to do, Nick. 800-85. He's shaking his head and giving me some gesture with his hand and finger. I think that's rude. 800-859-0957. Let's go to Ed in Mount Clemens. Good morning, Edward.
Good morning. By the way, if you have a snowblower and there's this kind of conditions, it doesn't matter what time you start it because it's going to have to get done anyway. I'm all for any time. I'm sorry about the kids. I'm sorry about your coach. Just sorry. But I wanted to get on to the point with numbers. I mean, these people are talking 1.9 trillion. I hope Debbie Dingell's listened too, because if you divide it by 350 million or 330 million, let's go by 330. That's the average population. It's 57 per man, woman, and child in America that's what we're going to owe. And you're going to mail them how much? A $1,400 check? Is there a way I can get out of this deal? Because it's not very profitable. So that means a family of 5 owes $28,785 to get what, $6,000? Are you kidding me? and let's go to the state of Michigan. 67 billion, 10 million, that's 6,700 per man, woman, and child. And then you say, well, there are other taxes that come in and this and that and that and this. Still boils down to the people who owe it. And nobody's saying the real numbers. They're saying just this number. Nobody deals in those numbers. They deal in hundreds or thousands.
we know that this is. I mean, it's. We just don't have unlimited money. I mean, this is not. I mean, this is coming from somewhere, and so the day of reckoning will come where we have to, where there is going to be an increase in taxes or whatever, or there at least that will be the proposition. But unfortunately, this is what we have to deal with now, right? Like whether you like it or not that Whitmer shut restaurants down, or you like it or not that the MDHHS is putting all these orders in place, or whatever you feel about any of that, and certainly we all have our opinions, but we are dealing with it in the here and now. This is the reality of the situation. And the reality is people are having a hard time. If you're in the service industry, you're hemorrhaging. You're having a hard time keeping your business afloat. You're having a hard time keeping employees on the books. You're having a hard time, if you are an employee, you're having a hard time paying your rent, paying your car, paying your bill, whatever it is. So again, like I agree with all of that. I totally understand what you're saying, but this is what we have to deal with right now. This is the reality of the situation. You know what I mean? So that's the issue that we're going to face. And no, I certainly do not. Taking out another stimulus plan for people seems to be not prudent, economics here. And we can't just keep doing it over and over and over again. But something's got to happen. Something has to happen. Somebody has to get some money to these people. And you're going to bring down, right? They've lowered the threshold for people who are eligible. Well, that'll help. That'll help. But still, people are going to need the money. Let's go to Gary in New Hudson. Good morning, Gary.
Hey, how you doing today?
Hey, what's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. What can I do for you, Gary?
Okay, I just, I heard you talk about something that you were getting slammed for snow blowing, at 5:30 or something this morning. I was doing it at 4:30, so I just kind of figure you got to do what you got to do, because if I didn't do it now, all them tracks would be hard down, and it'd be a pain in the butt to try to get it all done.
I agree. All right, Gary. Thank you for your vote of approval. I appreciate that.
Yes, you got my vote of approval.
You're the man. Thank you.
All right, man.
All right, talk to you. Yeah. Gary New Hudson. That's my guy right there. Let's go to Dave in New Baltimore. Good morning, David.
You reminded me of, out in the suburbs on Saturday morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning, everybody starts firing up their lawnmower. And once the first one fires up, within 10 minutes, you've got about a dozen of them. And it's kind of a Pavlovian response, I think. Yeah.
It could be.
So
how early is too early, Dave? How early?
You know what? In this kind of weather, you do what you got to do when you got to do it.
All right.
I heard them this morning. They were out there at 4 a.m. And the city was coming by with their plows at 4 a.m. So
well, then I don't feel that bad.
Your previous caller said, go for it before it gets worse.
All right. You're the man, Dave. Appreciate you.
All right.
Good stuff. 800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR, the number for you to call or text. More on the other side, including we got to hit this story about Beaumont canceling the second round of vaccinations for almost 1,900 people. What was the reason for it? We'll get to the bottom of it with Beaumont COO Carolyn Wilson. That's coming up at 10:05. But first, off the roadways, we'll get an update with our Dana Clark. Dana.
Haggerty northbound between Hines Drive. Just eastbound 696 at Coolidge, collision blocks the left lane. 696 eastbound near Telegraph. One crash has cleared, that other crash is blocking the left lane. Disabled vehicle on the exit ramp of 94 westbound at Livernois. 96 eastbound at Novi Road, accident is blocking that shoulder. And finally, ramp restrictions blocking your 96 westbound ramp to 275 northbound. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Cloudy conditions, 14 degrees, going up to a high of just 20 today. That winter weather warning in effect until noon.
All right,
For
let's see
tonight,
here.
A very cold, partly cloudy. You're 5 below.
Barbara,
Wednesday,
July
some clouds
2020,
with
Whitmer
sun.
vetoed a
Once
Republican
again,
bloc bill to
we
keep
get
COVID
20.
patients out of nursing homes.
Dana Clark, WJR News.
Maria says, tell Nick to get better windows, and he won't do it.
Challenge all of you for a moment.
Usually, nothing wrong with snow blowing that early. It doesn't snow all the time. It's different if you were cutting grass at 6 a.m. every Sunday morning. That would be just cause for name calling.
Access to a measly social security.
Don says snow blowing and grass cutting are different. Grass can wait. You don't need to cut grass in order to get out of the driveway to go to work. GT says Debbie Dingle is so partisan and dishonest. Well, look, I mean, certainly they are following the party line here to a certain extent.
My listeners take control of their retirement.
So, I mean, you know, I think there are a lot more partisan people than Debbie Dingle. I'll put it that way.
Principium's team is nationally recognized and doesn't play favorites. Income planner Chris Alberta practically wrote the book on creating guaranteed minimum income accounts. How about fee-based money management? Principium's team is cutting edge and in constant communication with their clients. 401k.
Chris, did your wife help you snow blow?
Oh, no. 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 She was getting ready for work.
Did she get up early?
It's really, yeah, she always gets up early. I mean, it's
like earlier than usual.
Yes, she did get up a little earlier than usual. She left a little earlier than usual. So I'm interested to know about this story about Beaumont's vaccine shortage here. So we'll talk about that coming up. Any word on the 1035?
Not yet, no.
Okay. Another story that I want to get to, and maybe we'll do this at 1035. Democrat lawmakers in New York are getting all over Andrew Cuomo for his explanation of the nursing home data delay or cover up, however you want to put it. These are members of his own party.
To creating a clean, safe, and equitable world for all. By bringing together diverse teams, GM advances a shared vision of a future with zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion. To learn more about GM,
So we'll get to that coming up too, because I find that to be very interesting.
visit GM.
In the meantime, here, Beaumont canceling the appointments for almost 1,900 shots. I mean, and it's not even just 1,900, not vaccines here. This is second dose vaccine. So like they're on a time frame here.
Until noon today, although the snow has subsided in most areas, also snow emergencies remain in effect throughout the metro area in many communities. You need to keep your car off the streets so the plows can get through. And as you are out,
What would be your favorite punchki flavor, Chris?
transportation. And if I may remind people,
It's a good question. I don't do a whole lot of discriminating with the punchkis.
You're an equal opportunist.
I'm an equal opportunist. I would probably I'd probably gravitate towards the cream.
The cream over the jelly.
Or the strawberry. Like if I'm picking a jelly, it's probably a strawberry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the punchki thing this year. Have you guys had a punchki yet today? Will you be having a punchki? It doesn't look like I'm going to get one this. Usually we get them at the station, at the studio, but now we're not there all the time, so we won't get them today, and that's fine. I know I'm good with skipping a Fat Tuesday here, but I probably won't get one today. I could maybe I'll stop at like Kroger and buy one of the Kroger ones. But is that even worth it at that point? No, I don't think so either. I really don't. Or maybe I wonder if we've got a couple like little local bakeries in town. Maybe I'll pop in there and see what they're doing. Support a local business here. That would help. Oh, Maria. Ain't that the truth?
Have you seen the
that's the cannolis, that's Nick and I's people.
Have you seen the Coney Punchki?
Yes. And
Would
I like it. Yes.
Really?
Yes. We've had them at the station. You haven't
I
had
know.
one?
I don't think I did.
Oh, they're great. They really are. Whatever it is, it works. I don't know.
I had the Coney pizza that Comerica Park put out.
I never had that one.
Years ago. That was good. I'm not sure I could do a Coney Punchki.
The Coney Punchki is good. I mean, the punch, there's no filling, right? So it's just the donut.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So you've got the donut, the dog, the
chili, mustard,
mustard onions. It works. It does.
Would you take that?
That
over
little bread is sweet.
Would you take that over a normal punchki? Like you're only getting one for the day.
If I'm only getting one, I may. I mean, I don't eat more than one punchki anyway. So if I guess if I'm choosing, I don't know. It's a novelty, right? It's like you're not going to eat a punchki Coney all the time.
So is Fat Tuesday. You have it once a year.
Yeah, but okay, but now I'm going to get in trouble. The punchki isn't that much different than like a donut.
100%.
So if I wanted a jelly-filled or cream-filled donut, that would be of enough to bridge that punchki hole there, right?
Yes, the punchki hole in your life.
Punchki hole in my life. So if I had to choose, the Coney punchki is very like unique and specific that you're not going to get all the time. So maybe I would go with that one.
Well, hey, you buy a hot dog and you buy a jelly-filled donut.
I suppose
Make
that's
your
true.
own.
That's true. When is someone going to confront Dick? Oh, all right. We're coming back. We'll get to Paul in a minute. Cannoli-filled punchki. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's our people, Nick.
Brian next door was talking about it.
More and enroll at huntington.com/moneyscout. Huntington. Welcome. Money Scout is subject to eligibility, terms and conditions, and other account agreements. Member FDIC.
The Frank Beckman Show, News Talk 760 WJR. Now sitting in for Frank Beckman, here's Chris Renwick.
Of course, the push to vaccines, the push to vaccinate as many, as large a group of people as possible continues to be, a huge priority. I mean, priority number one in a lot of instances. And in local hospital systems, local hospital chains are doing just that. When the state gets the their allotment for the week or whatever, they're doling them out, and the hospitals are trying to put them in arms as quick as possible. Yesterday, Beaumont announced that it had to cancel the appointments for those who were looking to get their second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Almost 1,900 people, 1,884, were scheduled to receive their second doses Thursday. So this is for this upcoming Thursday, a couple days from now. But it learned that the allotment from Pfizer was going to be reduced from what they had expected. To help us sort all this out, Beaumont Health's Chief Operating Officer, Carolyn Wilson, on the other end of our line. Carolyn, good morning to you. Thanks for taking the time with us.
Good morning, Chris, and thanks for giving us the opportunity to talk about vaccination.
Yeah, and I think it's important because certainly, I'm sure you understand people they can get frustrated or they can get worried that now are they going to get the second dose that they were promised or that's been earmarked for them, and I think the answer is, and I don't want to speak out of turn here for you, but I think the answer is yes, they will get the second dose. It just may not be Thursday.
You're correct. We recognize how unsettling having to cancel appointments is for our community and our patients. Beaumont has desperately wanted to your point, get as many first and second dose vaccines in arms as possible. It's really unfortunate that we had to send these cancellation notices out. However, with this weather and our population coming in, we didn't want them to come in without vaccine. We heard from the state on Friday that the amount of vaccination that the state was able to send to Beaumont did not meet the number of second vaccine doses that we had scheduled for this week, and that was the cause of the cancellation. I do want our patients, our public, our community to know, number one, Beaumont remains exceptionally committed to vaccinating. We are dependent, quite frankly, on the state for the adequate supply. And we are working really, really closely with them. We spent hours again yesterday with the National Guard, who is working on behalf of the state to reconcile dosages and make good decisions. The state has a lot of decisions about where to send vaccine. And we are, showing them with detail about how many first doses we gave and the second dose needs that we have this week. The state has recognized that we didn't get enough. And we are hoping through work with the state and Pfizer and the CDC to still get more at the end of the week to avoid canceling additional appointments.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is and this doesn't get a lot of coverage because generally and it's worked pretty well, at least across the country and certainly at Beaumont. If you get the first shot, you get your card, you make your next appointment for your second shot in a few weeks.
Right.
And you get it. I mean, there really hasn't been a whole lot of hiccups in terms of receiving that second dose. But the thing that doesn't get a lot of play is that you don't necessarily need to get it, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to the day. I mean, there is a little bit of wiggle room within even a couple weeks that you can receive that vaccine and it still be very, very, very effective up until, the 95% that it's guaranteed to. So while, some of these folks are maybe worried, like, oh, now I got to wait another week. And what is that going to do? It really is okay.
You are correct. Again, we don't want to cancel anybody because we're excited that people are getting the vaccine and we'd like to give it at that 3-week preferred timeline that Pfizer has recommended. But you are correct. The CDC is sharing with us now that you can go up to 6 weeks after the first vaccine to get the second. And so we do agree. We are trying to do everything we can for those that we had to cancel this week to schedule them next week. So we'll get it as close to the timeline preferred as possible.
And as long as you're within that window, you should be good. So if you're one of these people that maybe got canceled, and even canceled probably is the wrong word, rescheduled, everything, will be okay. I am a little curious to know how Beaumont approaches some of this. I mean, when you are giving these vaccines, are you preparing, let's just nice round numbers. If you get 10,000 doses, are you giving out only 5,000 knowing that you'll have in a couple weeks to then give the second dose, or are you giving 10,000 and then hoping for another 10,000, 3 weeks down the road?
Correct. More the second, but it's more than a hope. We have to keep exceptionally detailed records of exactly which vials we're using, how many doses we're giving, who we're giving them to, and it all goes into a state database. And our instructions from the state have been that we give the entire allotment. The state has set a goal that 95% of the vaccines that are given each week to an institution called Beaumont Health are given because we all are wanting to get shots in arms. And so the expectation is we give everything we get for first doses. Until this last week, we were getting a separate allocation for first doses and second doses. And so we were able to give, like I said, everything that we got. Unfortunately, starting last week, we got shorted on our second dose vaccines, and therefore everything that we got, we gave to second dose only, and we have not been able to offer first dose vaccines for Pfizer for the last couple of weeks.
Wow. That's incredible. And I guess it just speaks to, look, we still need an influx of vaccines. We still need those vials to keep coming in at a high rate, and they're not coming in fast enough. Yesterday, it was announced that the state of Michigan will begin distributing the vaccine to certain federally qualified health centers to ensure those at higher risk of COVID-19 complications. And as the state put it, racial or ethnic minorities or people with lower incomes or disabilities are going to be prioritized getting those vaccines. That announcement did not have any impact in your cancellation of these. You're saying that you just didn't get the allotment that you were, either told that you were going to get or were hoping for.
You're right. I think what the state is working to do, and we support their work, is to get as many Michiganders vaccinated as fast as possible. And so the first few weeks, almost all of the vaccine was targeted at the health systems, and we ramped up. Belmont has the capacity now to give 50,000 vaccines a week. We're just not getting them. What the state is shifting to now is more of a wide distribution to federally qualified healthcare centers. We've seen from churches, the health departments, and so their strategy is broadening. I think the challenge is more providers, less vaccine for any of us.
Yeah. I got about 10 seconds left here. Have you been given any indication about like kind of a date here in the next, near future where you're going to be able to start giving out these doses at a more consistent level and at a higher level?
We are working closely with the state to get clarity on that. I don't have it yet.
Okay. Look, I appreciate so much you taking some time, helping us clear this up. If you're one of these almost 1,900 people, don't worry. I'm sure you've already probably been rescheduled. Everything will be fine. Just a small blip, but Beaumont's got you covered. Carolyn Wilson, COO of Beaumont Health, thank you so much. We always appreciate you making some time for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep. All right, more to come here on the Frank Beckmann Show. First, we got to get an update on our traffic situation with our Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
It's a new year, but for kids in poverty around the world, things are still desperate. Join Compassion with your one-time $40 gift to provide a COVID relief kit to a family in poverty. Text the word GIVE to 83393. That's GIVE to 83393.
Haggerty northbound between Hines Drive at Plymouth. That accident, multiple disabled vehicles have been cleared. 94 westbound at Livernois, that accident also clear, as well as Jeffries westbound at 275. US 23 southbound, south of Center Road. Accident is blocking that left lane. 96 eastbound at Milford.
All right. Here's where this audience is terrific, right, Nicholas? Phil Harrison coming through with the MacGyver punchki. I was just saying, Nick, you've got Phil Harrison here, who's a loyal listener. Always appreciate hearing from Phil. This is the MacGyver. This is the bakery version of MacGyver. Phil Harrison, here's how you make a poor man's punchki: soup ladle, jelly, Hawaiian sweet roll, done.
Pretty much.
Wow. You'd have to probably whip up you get some powdered sugar and then like some milk, whip it up.
Maria's.
And then have a little Maria. They have tiramisu. Nicholas.
Tiramisu punchki. I would walk there from here.
You know how I feel about Cantoros.
You know how I feel about Cantoros.
Maria, we are big Cantoros fans. In fact, let me give you a little insider information on Chris Renwick. When my wife and I got married, our rehearsal dinner was in the wine cellar at Cantoros. Big Cantoro family. Love Cantoros. Let's see here. GT, thanks to Frank Beckmann. He's one of the best ever, and I'm going to miss him. I wish him the best in his retirement. We're going to miss him too. But we're excited he's able to call his own shot. That's really cool. And we believe me, we got a lot of shows left before then, so we're gonna do it upright. Bill, good grief, we got about 10 inches of snow. Thank God a neighbor helped with a snowblower. That's awesome. Punchkis are made every day. They're just called jelly-filled donuts the rest of the year. It's true. Paul says chase it with vodka. My goodness, Paulie. Whoa. Paul's laying into it. We got calls, Nicholas.
Just
Where do you want me to start?
We just have Rob.
Okay. Chicago got 18 inches with 3 to 5 coming tomorrow. My goodness. You know, I got to say, I'm not a big let's talk about snow guy. It's not my thing. But like what's happening in like Dallas,
it's insane.
Is crazy. And like we were talking this morning, Nashville got snow. Just crazy. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of like places that aren't prepared for snow, getting the amount of snow, now you got these power outages. I mean, it is a mess down south. It is an absolute mess. I'm thinking about getting a new bookshelf. I think I need a bigger shelf here, Nick. What do you think?
Helmets.
For more helmets. That's right. I'm going to have to get a new shelf. We'll do it. Could you do some shopping for me? Just see what you like. Send me the link.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR. Now sitting in for Frank Beckmann, here's Chris Renwick.
800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR, the number for you to call or text. Look, I'm not a big... the weather is something that we all deal with, right? I don't know. Like, I don't like to talk about it very much. Especially we live in Michigan. We got 7 inches of snow. It's crazy. What are you going to do? I mean, you know what I mean? This is something we deal with every year. Quite frankly, it's, we're mid-February here. I'm thrilled that it hasn't come sooner. So I don't do a lot of complaining about the weather here in Michigan. But when you look at what's going on across the country, especially when you get down to the South, it is crazy. I mean, you got what, Nick was telling me this morning, Nashville got snow. They don't ever get snow in Nashville. I mean, very, very rarely. But what's going down in like Texas? I mean, my goodness. When you're not, when you don't have a system in place for this, and you get slammed with it, I mean, this is, it's not good. I mean, it creates a lot of problems. And then for all the green energy folks out there, these wind turbines are freezing. How are you going to put an influx of wind turbines up north if they're freezing down in Dallas? Mass power outage. I mean, millions of people are out of power. I got family in Florida, right? And they're on the Gulf side, and down in like Fort Myers and in that area, Fort Myers, Naples. And you go down there around this time of year, go down around Thanksgiving, and it's they're wearing like sweaters, winter coats, and it's like 50 degrees, and I'm like, what's going on down here? I'm like, it's cold here for us. And okay, fair enough. I mean, but heaven forbid Dallas is a warm place. When you start getting snow like they are, these temperatures that they are, it's incredible. So, you talk about the future of, green energy here and what they're, what the proposals are for something like this. And it really makes you wonder. 800-859-09. Is this the way to go? I mean, you have to think that way. Right? I mean, I'd love to hear somebody ask the Biden administration about this. How do you make this something that you can put in cold weather states? So, you put them in Michigan and half the year you're going to be without power because these things are frozen solid? Come on. 800-859-0957. Is Rob still there, Nick? Yes. All right. Let's go to Rob in Dearborn. Good morning, Rob.
How you doing?
Hey, what's up?
I definitely have to say that I don't know what planet Nick is on, and I support him in the fact that I think you should be courteous to your neighbors. But with this being, all right, I'm just going to come out with it. What does Nick have against frontline workers? I mean, you're just trying to help your wife.
I agree. Nick doesn't. Hashtag Nick doesn't like frontline workers.
It's just a question. Anyway, I was going to get on something else real quick. Operation Warp Speed kind of worked. Why the heck there aren't at least maybe 250 million doses out there is beyond me. What, nobody thought like we did 80 years ago when we started the climb to win World War II? Maybe we should build a factory or two or three, specifically for this that can just mass churn these right out, and we could be done with this. Done with the problems, not the virus. Poor thinking on Trump's part, but still Operation Warp Speed worked, and nobody can, partially worked. Nobody can really argue that. Try to all day, but the proof is there. You just got to admit it. Last thing I was going to say is with the climate change, with all of this here, I hate to say it, but the Democrats were right in one sense. We need to invest more in our infrastructure. Texas's position right now is an embarrassing insult. I mean, both sides bring arguments to the table and the other one always argues against it. But, then you get crap like this happening and, you're really left red-faced. And if you're not red-faced, you're either not paying attention or you don't give a damn, which doesn't make you a good American anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think your take on Operation Warp Speed is really good. I think in terms of getting this ball rolling, getting these companies involved, giving them the resources that they need to push this vaccine out and to make sure they're effective and safe is a huge win. Huge win. Why? I guess I'm a little curious to know, and to be totally transparent, I haven't done much research here, but I would hope that Moderna, Pfizer, maybe soon to be Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca. I mean, all of these companies that are in production of the vaccines, I would really hope that it's not like a 9-to-5 gig where like you come in, you start, producing this thing, and then 9 o'clock, you punch your ticket out and away you go. I mean, I would hope that they've got that this operation just doesn't stop. Like, I would hope that this is just constantly, like the wheels are just constantly churning, because it's the only way that we're going to be able to get enough vaccines around in, by November or whatever Johnny Calhoun has floated out there. So I think you're right. I think for 85% of Operation Warp Speed, incredibly successful. And that absolutely falls at the feet of Donald Trump and his administration. Where it seems that it fell short is, why haven't still there doesn't seem to be enough vaccines to go around, and the distribution process seems to have lacked. But getting that mRNA type of vaccine into it, finally, after years of research and development on it, getting it to a place where it's useful has been incredible. And it is safe, and I encourage, based on what we've heard here on the show from doctors, medical experts, you get the vaccine, you get it. So I think that's a really good call, Rob. There were some shortcomings, but for the most part, incredibly successful. 800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR, the number 40 caller text. All right, after the break, I think it's like you have to talk Punchki, so we'll do that with a bakery. We'll get the firsthand account of what's going on. We'll bring that to you at 10:35. Don't go anywhere. All right. At 10:27, however, we have to get an update on our snowy and slippery roads. I would assume at this point, Dana, it is getting better. Dana Clark's got it for you.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. It's the President's Day sale at Mattress Firm. Save up to $500 when you get a king bed for a queen price from brands like Sealy and Sleepy's. Plus, get a free adjustable base when you spend $6.99 during the President's Day sale at Mattress Firm.
Yes, Chris, it indeed is getting better. Most everything now clear. 96 eastbound at Milford, eastbound 96 at Novi, and also US 23 southbound south of Center Road. All of those problems are clear. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Carpenters Labor Management Partnership Team. Make a career change today. Join the skilled trades. The Carpenters LMPT contractors are looking for professional, hardworking individuals that want to build a career with great pay, full retirement, and family health care. Text JOB to 855-424-2562. That's JOB to 855-424-2562. Winter storm warning still in effect until noon today. Looks like the snow showers have ended in most areas. Cloudy skies, 14 degrees, going up to a high of 20 today. Tonight, quite cold, 5 below. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News, with Marie Osborne in 2 minutes.
Walsh is more than a business school. We're an accelerator, a think tank, an incubator for ideas. We're the fuel you need to take that next step. Where leaders are made and where barriers are.
All right, let's see here. I got to get to some.
This is not your typical business program.
Let's see here.
Not your typical business school. Apply now at walshcollege.edu.
Nashville got a bunch of ice. Wait, hold on. Where am I going? I got to get up here. All right. See a guitar behind you, Chris. How about a tune during commercials? Maybe Nick can sing the Snowblower Blues.
I would, but I didn't get enough sleep last night because my neighbors were snowblowing at 5 in the morning.
Nashville got a bunch of ice, so they canceled the Preds hockey game. That's right. That's why Texas is having problems, Bill said. The propellers froze. 16-mile-an-hour winds, but the props aren't moving. How are you generating energy? Richard says the problem with an mRNA vaccine will be 8 to 10 years from now when the next COVID comes. Will people that have every cell with this strain let the next one sneak in and kill it? Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would assume, here's the one thing that I think is interesting. I mean, we haven't had anything like this in quite some time. I mean, the swine flu was the closest, but it certainly was not as contagious or as deadly as this is. So what I'm hoping is that there are a lot of lessons being learned, that there is a lot of, I think everybody should always kind of be on standby at this point. Like, I think that there always should be a sense of like urgency that we need to stay on top of this so that the next time we're not caught off guard. Why is Kamala Harris calling foreign leaders? I don't know. I mean, if I had to guess, she is a little more of an eloquent of a speaker than Joe Biden, but it's not surprising that, the vice president talks to foreign leaders. Bill says, use your flamethrower to melt the ice. I agree. I mean, you could write with the flamethrower in the snow. I think that'd be cool. I understand the great desire to cheat nature and do miracle cures, but for me, they tried, and the true answer is to use a traditional style vaccine built by trials and let herd immunity do its natural thing. I mean, I think that's what they're trying to get to here, where, I think they said that if you can get 70% of the country inoculated, that herd immunity will build. You just got to get to the point where we can do it. Do you really think your behavior can change Mother Nature? No. They're making the vaccines. Oh, now it jumped. They're making the vaccines as fast as they can for the world, not just the U.S. Did I hear in your interview that the CDC now says we can go out 6 weeks between shots? Amazing how we can change the rules. Well, I think that just wasn't. I mean, I don't think that was really a question at any point. Like, it wasn't an issue. But like they said at Beaumont, if they get 10,000 doses, they're going to give out 10,000 shots and then wait for the other shipment to come in a couple weeks so that they can give out the second doses to those people. So if you get 10,000 doses, they're not holding on to 5,000 when the other, they inoculate 5,000 people, and they're not holding on to the other 5,000 for 2 weeks down the road. So, I mean, and I certainly understand that. I think that's pretty common practice now. What is this guy saying? Democrats waste all the money they get. Republicans spend it on infrastructure. Just look at the empowerment zones Trump put in place, the opportunity zones. Yeah. Biden said his buddies are at fault. Warp speed is successful. The Democrats screwed it up. Boom. It's from Allie. Michael says, I do PR for a couple local ski hills. They're rocking this year, and the fresh powder snow is icing on the cake. I have no doubt that they're doing pretty good now. Yeah. It's a great activity. And, if you've never skied, I highly recommend it. Love skiing. Haven't been in a number of years, but I used to love to ski. It's a great activity to do, in the winter. But now, for sure, everybody's outside. It's a great COVID winter activity. I love this interactive format because I'm at work and can't hold on the phone, but this way I can participate when I'm available. Great idea. Good. Glad you like it, GT. Thanks for hanging out with us. I meant use your flamethrower on the wind turbines. Sure. Defrost. Barbara, Bill, they've been using de-icers like for airplanes, but it hasn't worked. Oh, I hadn't seen that, Barbara. So they've been trying that and it hasn't worked. I mean, those propellers are super high in the air. All right. And it's New Martha, Washington Bakery. Is that in Hamtramck, Nick? Okay, cool. Awesome.
Principium's team is nationally recognized and doesn't play favorites. Income planning, Chris Alberta practically broke the book on creating guaranteed minimum income accounts. How about fee-based money? Principium's team is cutting edge and in constant.
I mean, man, those rolling blackouts is. Whew. I'm not about that life. No, thank you.
Certainty out there to simply roll the dice and hope things work out. Hope is not a strategy. While some advisors push high commission annuities and even more simply convince you that the market will continue its record run, we both know that you need a solution that both limits the risk and keeps the door open for future gains. Principium is your ticket. It's time for those conservative folks to actually conserve. Stop the endless fees. Stop the unnecessary risk. Stop the anxiety. Start retiring the Frank Beckmann way. Less risk, more reward, real relationships. Call the Principium team at 888-800-8949 or visit retirelikefrank.com. 888-800-8949 or retirelikefrank.com.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR. Now sitting in for Frank Beckmann, here's Chris Renwick.
800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. It's Fat Tuesday. I think sales are still doing well. Maybe not quite as a normal year, but sales are still doing well. I think it's important that we head to the Punchki Mecca here in our area, in Hamtramck. We got to go to the New Martha Bakery, the New Martha Washington Bakery, in Hamtramck, and talk to Sandy Bakich, who's there and with us on the other end of our line. Sandy, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Are you exhausted yet?
Well, I don't want to think about it. It's past exhaustion.
Well, that's why you have the punchkis there, so that you get that sugar
That's
intake.
right.
Yeah.
It
So
converts to instant energy.
instant energy. You're right. So talk to me. This is certainly a unique year for you and for all the folks in Hamtramck. Usually you're swamped, busy, and I know you're still busy. It's just certainly is a bit of a different year than in years past.
It most certainly is. This COVID has thrown us for a loop. It's taught us a lot of things. Taught us about more self-awareness and cleanliness and keeping our customers. Well, we've always tried to keep our customers and staff safe, but nothing like now. I mean, this is at the foremost front is the safety of everybody.
Yeah.
I could say that my customers are enthusiastic about it too.
Good. That's good. That's good to hear. Talk to me about a normal Fat Tuesday. I know you're there very, very early. You're getting ready. You're making everything fresh. And so I don't anticipate much of that has changed this year. Is it just a quantity thing that's really different for you?
The quantity thing is, and also we can't have the work staff we had before. We've had to reduce our work staff for Punchki Day. We've had to reduce the amount of flavors. We used to offer 21 different kinds. Now it's down to 13. So, but customers are still very appreciative that they can still get it. They are also happy that we're keeping up the tradition.
Yeah.
It's not like it was, past years, but it is like it used to be in the beginning.
You know what, Sandy? It's a really interesting point you bring up, and I hadn't thought about it, but you're right. And your customers are right, because in a year where there's so much, there's so many different things happening, and you're ringing off the hook. That's exciting. I'm happy for you. But when things have been difficult for small business, restaurants, bakeries certainly is not exempt. There is that sense of relief that you're still going on with this, and there is something to be said for that, for people who can still count on you to make punchkis on Fat Tuesday for them, so they can come and pick it up from you. I think that's a very underrated part in all of this.
Yes, it is, and our customer support is awesome. It is awesome. They support us each and every day.
Yeah, so you usually have in the 20s in terms of variety of punchkis. This year you're down into the teens, the low teens. What are you offering this year? Like, what's the big sellers? I imagine like strawberries up there.
Of course, strawberry, raspberry, custard. Of course, they are the 3 top picks this year.
All right.
We have a little bit more exotic ones like guava and rose.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes, it is interesting. Well, we have to pep up the flavors a little bit.
Well, that
basic.
Yeah, it's just not traditional, but I like that. I like that it's a new flair to a traditional item. I like that. So talk to me about how first of all, how has business been this morning? I mean, I would assume that you're busy all day, but the morning is probably the busiest time for you.
The morning we had a lot of our customers had pickup orders, and they had prepaid before, so it was in and out for the customers. Right now we are lined outside. People are only coming in where we used to have 40 people shoulder to shoulder in here. We can only allow 6 people at a time. But my customers are lined up, I'm seeing outside, and social distancing even outside. So that's support.
Yeah. That's got to be incredibly touching for you.
You know what it is? We've been here since 1973, my parents, but the bakeries existed since 1925, and it would not exist if it wasn't for all this customer support.
Yeah. And so business has been good. That's great. Have you had more people? Did they go more to an ordering system where they were able to place an order, prepay, and then just come pick it up? Or are you seeing more of those orders, or has it been 50-50, or still people wanting to come in?
50-50.
Okay.
It's 50-50. There are certain times where we have to stop the orders because we have to offer for the people that are, walk in as well.
Yeah, sure. Well, look, I'm happy. I'm happy that there's a certain semblance of normality to what's happening today, and you're able to provide something for people to maybe, hopefully, despite their waiting out in the cold, despite their mask, that you're able to bring some happiness to folks, and I think that's incredibly underrated, and I appreciate you doing that for our community.
Well, thank you. We love being here. We love the interaction with the customers.
All right, I've taken enough of your time. Get back to work. More punchkis need to go out, Sandy.
Will do. Take care.
Yep, you too. Sandy Bakich over at the New Martha, Washington Bakery in Hamtramck, a staple in the community. Great punchkis, and a nice, at least a change of pace here to COVID. Good to see it happen. All right, more to come here on the Frank Beckmann Show. 10:43 off to the roadways. We'll get a check on our slippery conditions, but improving with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by SmartMouth, the only 24-hour mouthwash with twice daily use. Stay fresh out there with SmartMouth Mouthwash, the only mouthwash that provides 24 hours of fresh breath with twice daily use. So whatever the day may bring, you can stay sunny with a side of fresh. Grab a bottle today. Available wherever mouthwash is sold or visit smartmouth.com.
Definitely improving out there, Chris. Right now we are accident free. Looking at construction along Gratiot southbound at 8 Mile. That right lane is closed daily, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. through late February. Now WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Gordon Chevrolet, where buying a car is fun, fast, and friendly. No advertised fake lowball prices, just great service and great pricing. Come home to Gordon Chevrolet on Ford Road, just west of Merriman in Garden City. GordonChevrolet.com. Gordon Chevrolet, find new roads.
We'll continue with the bitter cold air. If anything, we're getting reinforced with bitter cold air, and a winter storm warning is in place here for scattered snow that's around.
So, Chris, this new Martha Washington Bakery opened at 8, so they were probably there by 6 at least.
At least, yeah, I would say.
So
at least.
Maybe 5. Were they snow blowing at 3 a.m.?
Probably. You mean like the business or their homes?
Well, either. Yeah.
The business
not a very large area. Oh, look at the whole city.
Yeah, I would imagine that they were snow blowing. And what did you want to yell at her?
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to do? You sicko.
If she's not giving out punchkis to the area. Hey, sorry for waking up at 3 a.m. Here's a punchki. Okay.
That's true. That's not a bad consolation there. Michael, let me know if you or Frank want to hit the slope. So that's nice. I appreciate the offer. The best punchki donuts are Avon Donuts in Pontiac, and their cousins on Woodward Avenue, the Donut Cutter. I've had Donut Cutter.
The Donut Cutter is the best donut in the area.
Now, I don't know Avon Donuts. Do you know Avon Donuts?
I do not, no.
Okay. Maybe we need to do how we do the Pure Michigan Golf Tour.
The Donut Tour.
The Ag Tour. Maybe the Donut Tour needs to happen.
Yeah.
Nick, you're killing me, Smalls, Mark says. Nick he just wants to yell. Nick is get off my lawn guy. Actually, speaking of get off my lawn, maybe I'll bring it up here in a minute. I have a get off my lawn moment. We'll bring it up. Maybe Nick can weigh in on it too. We haven't even really talked about it. Phil, I've seen a story on social media that's come up a few times about the military having 90 days to investigate an election outcome. Just happens to be March 6th, 90 days from certifying the election. I've heard this several times. I have not heard or seen anything like that. I'd have to do a little due diligence. Here's the get off my lawn moment or my lawn moment. We'll do it here. So, if you go on a website, a news outlet, and you click on a story, and it gives you the first paragraph, and then down there is a little button that says keep reading or read more or more story or whatever, and you got to click it, and then it loads the rest of the story. I'm there to read the story. I'm there for it. That's why I clicked on the link to get to the story. I'm there. I want to participate in learning about this story. I don't need to click on another button.
Why?
I already clicked the button.
What's the big deal?
It's not a big deal, but I just don't understand why it's there. This is, you know what? I'm like Jerry Seinfeld. That's who I am. I've realized. That's who Jerry, what is this? To me, I don't understand why I got to click another button. Why do I got to click another button?
To get another click.
Why do I have to click a button? That's pretty good, Jerry Seinfeld.
That's not bad. Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Copyrighted, do you think? Can I hit the air with that? I don't know.
No, I think you can.
I think so. It drives me nuts. I don't know. Maybe I'm out of my mind. It's possible.
You are a talent now, so.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right, who's our... can you reset this for me here?
Yeah.
Call the Oxford Gold.
833-600 Gold. That's 833-600 GOLD.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR. Now sitting in for Frank Beckmann, here's Chris Renwick.
Thank God for those bakeries in Hamtramck still churning out those punchkis, eh? I mean, that is good stuff. It is. Local business, getting an influx of, high traffic. That's huge. That's great. And to be honest, there's no chance that they'd miss a day like today. It's just not who they are. So that's great. Can I share a get off my lawn moment with you, please? And Nick, feel free to weigh in on this if you'd like. I read so many stories, right? So many news stories. Get ready for the show, giving them to Frank, whatever it is. I read so much. And this is a pet peeve of mine. And it's probably incredibly stupid and like nitpicky, but it drives me nuts. So if I go on a website, some news outlet, whatever, pick your outlet, doesn't really matter. They all do it. And I click on a story, whatever here. It happened to me today. And we're going to talk about this later. So this says, I think this is from Fox News. New York Dem lawmakers trash Cuomo's explanation for nursing home data delay. No one believes you, said New York's State Senator Jessica Ramos. Okay, so that's the headline, right? So I click it to get to the story because I'm like, that's interesting. Let's see what they're saying. So I click it. And then it gives you the first paragraph, first few sentences. And then once you get down under those first few sentences, there's another button that says like continue reading or more story. So you got to click it to keep reading. And it's like, yeah, I'm here for that. That's why I clicked on the story. Why do I got to click again? I'm there for the information already. You got me. I want to know more about it. That's why I'm here. Why do I have to click something else?
Well, you just got the teaser of the story. It needs another click to make sure that you want the rest of the story.
Oh, so they're just testing to see if I'm serious.
Yeah, and then they get 2 clicks for it.
Are you sure you want to know more? It's just stupid. I've come to the realization that I'm like Jerry Seinfeld. Nick, I want to read the story. That was not good. I'm there.
It was better like 2 minutes ago.
I'm there for the story. I'm there. You got me. Why do I have to click something else? I don't know. Your opinion has changed greatly of me in the last few house.
And
You don't understand. You don't understand why it's a big deal that I got to click this thing. You don't understand why I'm snow blowing so early. I guess that's your prerogative. I don't know. But it just dragged me nuts. And I had enough of it today. I just said, you know what? Enough. I'm here. I want to read the story. Let me read the story. It's just another it's just a road bump. I don't need it. I'm good. Anyway. Well, let's talk about that story. How about that for a second? We'll get to Gary McComb in a second. Hold on, Gary. So yes, Andrew Cuomo comes out yesterday trying to clarify what the heck is happening in New York State. Says that the Department of Justice and the state legislatures both submitted requests for data at the same time last summer. Cuomo said his team opted to prioritize the federal inquiry and informed state lawmakers their request for data would be paused in the meantime. Okay. Cuomo said we gave precedence to the DOJ. We told the assembly that we told the assembly that we told the Senate that that's what we did. We were also in the midst of managing a pandemic. Cuomo said any disconnect between his office and state lawmakers was the result of a breakdown in communication between the staff and members of the legislature. But Democratic lawmakers, including New York State Senator Jessica Ramos, denied that Cuomo ever informed them of their decision. Ramos, who's a Democrat, says trash. No one believes you. At no point did the administration notify the legislature about a DOJ investigation, she said. People died and Cuomo lied, and then he had the gall to write a book, she says. In the meantime, New York State Senators Alessandra Biaggi and Gustavo Rivera, both Democrats, took aim at Cuomo's remarks. Both lawmakers said they first learned of the DOJ probe at a New York nursing home death in the local papers and not even from the governor's office. No, New York Gov Cuomo, this is Biaggi tweeted, you did not tell the entire Senate or Assembly that there was a DOJ investigation as the reason why you didn't share the nursing home numbers. I found out about a DOJ investigation with the rest of New Yorkers in the New York Post story Thursday night. Representative for New York State Assembly Speaker Carl Hastie, a Democrat, also pushed back on Cuomo's claim. Cuomo said the state legislatures were wrong to suggest they were never informed about the delay of their request. The governor expressed regret over the delays in releasing the data, admitting the request should have been prioritized. The void we created, misinformation, and created more anxieties for the families of loved ones, he said. That's about a wet diaper of an apology as you could possibly get. I think it's an embarrassment of what happened. And let me just remind you of something real quick. Remember, the House under Nancy Pelosi created a COVID-19 committee to look at what happened during the coronavirus outbreak. And on this very show, Frank spoke with members of that committee, including the head of the Republicans on the committee, Steve Scalise, out of Louisiana. And they, on the committee, requested information from our governor's office. And you know what she said? Let me borrow a line from Frank. Go pound sand. She said, don't infringe on states' rights. This is a state issue. We're handling it. You're federal officials. We don't want to hear from you. So now the DOJ is knocking on the door at Andrew Cuomo's house looking for info. And he says, okay, let me tell my state lawmakers that we need to put them on hold, although he never really told them, while I handle this request from the DOJ. It stinks. Something stinks here. Let's get that cut of Chris Cuomo talking about it. Dial that up. 800-859-0957. That's the number for you to call or text. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube for the rest of the show this morning. All right, 10:56. Off to the roadways. We'll get a check up there with our Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. It's the President's Day sale at Mattress Firm. Save up to $500 when you get a king bed for a queen price from brands like Sealy and Sleepy's. Plus, get a free adjustable base when you spend $6.99 during the President's Day sale at Mattress Firm.
Couple of problems popping up, Chris. 696 eastbound east of DeQuinder. A wreck is blocking the right lane. 96 westbound at Novi Road. Accident blocking that left lane. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Primetime Testing Laboratory. For over 20 years, they have been offering complete automotive testing services, guaranteeing on-time delivery and accurate result reporting to OEMs, Tier 1 and Tier 2 suppliers. For your next automotive project, get a free quote at primetimetestinglab.com. That's primetimetestinglab.com. That winter storm warning in effect for one more hour until 12 noon today. Looks like the showers have stopped the snow showers. We are looking at cloudy conditions, 14 degrees, a high of 20 today. Tonight, down to 5 below. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Marie Osborne in 2 minutes.
While we've been staying safe at home, scientists have been on a journey. The destination? A COVID-19 vaccine. This journey began decades ago with research into other coronaviruses. Scientists built from there with months of research and development, cooperation with other experts worldwide, and clinical trials on tens of thousands of volunteers of diverse race, age, and health status. They arrived at a safe, effective vaccine, and hundreds of thousands in Michigan have already been vaccinated. But the next step is ours. We need to get the vaccine when we can, keep wearing masks correctly, and taking precautions until we reach our destination, freedom from COVID-19, and getting back to the lives we love. Discover the facts for yourself at michigan.gov/COVID vaccine. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Time's running out to win 5,000.
All right, let's see here. I want to get caught up on some of your comments here. GT says Facebook owns that button. They pay the site to have it there, and it's used for cross-web trafficking. Well, I assumed it would be something, they're just looking for an extra click or whatever. I figured that was going to be the case. They want to know what site you visit to sell your interest to advertisers. Sure, I understand that. I don't like it, but I understand it. Look, it just drives me nuts. Maybe it's not a big deal. It probably isn't, but it just drives me nuts. Phil, regarding the military investigating an election 90 days out, it's in President Trump's executive order, September 12th. The Director of National Intelligence has 45 days to investigate if foreign leaders were involved in election fraud. In another 45 days, the Attorney General and Secretary of Homeland Security to send to the President and the Secretary of State Defense and Treasury report an evaluation of the question that equals 90 days. Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look into it. I hate when I miss what's happening here when I have to make a phone call for work. Jim, it's all right. You didn't miss much. Just that Nick is generally an overall not nice person. And I don't like when you click a story and you read the first paragraph and then there's another little button that says, read more, or the, story continues below or whatever. And then you got to click the button and then the rest of the story loads. I'm there for the story. I'm ready. Give me the story. That's it. That's all we did. Oh, and Democrats in New York are angry at Andrew Cuomo for his handling of this situation. So there's that. Let's see here. So now House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says that she's going to establish this independent commission to look at the attack on the U.S. Capitol back on January 6th. Pelosi said the commission will investigate and report the facts and causes relating to the January 6, 2021 domestic terrorist attack upon the United States Capitol complex and relating to the interference with the peaceful transfer of power. So that's there for you too. And we can comment on What about using a shovel if you're working before 8 a.m.? So, Kim, you think 8 a.m. is that's the cutoff to where you can start snow blowing? I mean, I hear you. I get it. I totally understand. I just had to do it. I can't spend, a couple hours shoveling, a couple hours, an hour, whatever it is. I'll just take the snowblower, hit it in 15 minutes and be done. But see, Nick, what you don't understand is I've got two driveways.
It must be nice.
So I've got like a driveway and then the sidewalk and then more driveway. So I have a lot of area to cover. Like I can't just, it's not just like I got some space I got to cover. I can't shovel. I just don't have time.
You don't need the whole thing.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, again, in this case, I did. If Frank were here this week, if he wasn't on vacation, I would just keep Jake. We would just stay snowed in. I'd have to snow blow behind Stephanie's car in the driveway, and then so she can get out. But we would just stay in. I wouldn't have taken him to my mom's. But since I was hosting today, I had to get him out of the house. He couldn't stay here. He would be a nuisance during the show. You understand?
No, he wouldn't. He'd make the show better.
He would be a nuisance.
If you're looking for any kind of new or used vehicle,
He would be great.
He would be a nuisance.
I think he's watching this right now.
There's a possibility. He is like, oh yeah, my dad's just losing his mind over something minuscule. Like I know all about that.
Dad's yelling again. Dad's mad about his phone clicking too many buttons.
Yep. I know what that's like. I'm not a generally angry person. But I can get into it. If you could live anywhere else besides the state of Michigan, like what other state would you rather live in? Anywhere.
Hawaii.
All right, that's good. What about mainland? Where would you go?
Probably California. Although
right.
I've only really been there for a couple Lions games. I've never been to LA or San Diego. I've only been to San Francisco and Oakland.
So you'd go California.
Yeah.
Jim says Maine.
Although I like Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Nashville, baby.
Wow.
The Frank Beckman Show, News Talk 760 WJR. Now sitting in for Frank Beckman, here's Chris Renwick.
800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. That's the number for you to call or text. All right, I told Gary we'd go to him. Gary and Macomb, good morning. Gary.
Good morning, Chris. It's Jerry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jerry. What do you got? My bad.
I got that call, your last call of the day yesterday that sparked that Paul, and he didn't understand about the Constitution. He was saying the Constitution only works one way for the Democrats and one way for the Republicans. So he didn't see the problem with the Democratic Party having their oldest minority Democrat being the judge of an impeachment trial, which is not constitutional. He thought it was okay for the judge to be the Vermont Leahy senator. He had no problems with that, even though the Constitution doesn't say that. But when the Democrats break the law, it's okay for Joe Biden to do a quick pro quo and not get caught, or Kamala Harris to bail out the rioters in Minnesota, and then they break somebody's head open. That was okay because they're Democrats. he doesn't seem to understand that there seems to be two different constitutions that people follow. And then the Democrats can just.
I know. Gary, listen. Paul was hot. He was upset. I understood. I was glad that I could be there to be his sounding board and let him just vent. It's okay. It's got to happen sometimes. But look, at the end of the day, I thought that with the information and the discussions and the rhetoric coming from the Democrats, right? We need to pass COVID relief. We need to do it yesterday. We need to pass it. We need to get the American people some help. We are going to do it. Okay, great. Then do it. But first we you see the House impeach Donald Trump again. So we got to have another thing. We're going to do another round of a trial in the Senate. I mean, the double talk is incredible, right? Like, you can't have it both ways. Either you want to pass this stimulus plan, this relief bill, this relief package, and if that's what you want to do, you want to try to get Republican support, yada, yada, yada. If that's not going to happen, right, you can still get it through. But no, you wanted to take the circus to television, and you wanted to air it all out. Donald Trump ain't in office anymore. He's gone. So move on. They can't move on. Probably because they're a little afraid, would be my guess. Like, 74 million people voted for this guy. You'd be hard pressed to think that Joe Biden's going to get the same support he did, in 2020. But we got a couple years left here, 4 years. I'm just saying, in terms of the rhetoric coming from the Democrats, relief, but then they go into impeachment. It's kind of nonsense. I mean, pick your route. They did. So don't tell me how much you want to help the American people, because you could have. You could have done it. You could have done it. Could have already been done. And by help the American people, I mean your version of helping the American people. Certainly people will benefit by getting this money, at least in the now. In the future, you're probably going to have to pay more in taxes, because this money just ain't, it's not falling from trees. We don't just have vaults of cash lying around. So that's been their modus operandi for how long now? They feel it's better in their interest to bash Donald Trump as opposed to doing actual work. I find it most interesting. Like, we talked to Brian Barnett a little earlier, the mayor of Rochester Hills. He's the former president of the United States Conference of Mayors, and said, look, Republican mayors, the story in the Washington Post said Republican mayors across the country, in larger cities, Miami, Oklahoma City, Rochester Hills isn't the size of those communities, but rather Republican mayors are going, look, let's take this package, let's do it, sign it, let's go. Because they're at the very front, they're at the front lines with these people. They're neighbors. They live in these communities. They're there all the time. You're not Tim Walberg or Alyssa Slotkin or Debbie Dingle or anybody who's like splitting time between DC. You're here all the time. You see it. You see these people every day. You know that there are struggles. I find it very interesting that Republican mayors across the country, or at least, a select few that were highlighted in the story that were of big communities, larger communities. But Republican congressional members they're not into it. They're not buying it, because the game is different at that level. Different game. Brian Barnett said, look, they need to start acting more like we do as mayors. I think he knows. I know. You certainly know. That ain't going to happen. It's not how the game is played out in DC. So look, I mean, I understand people are upset. I understand people, think Donald Trump should have been convicted, but he wasn't, and we knew he wasn't going to be. It's not a surprise. Let's try to fit Dennis in. I'll tell you what, we're going to hold Dennis. Hold tight. We'll get to you after the break. I don't want to stop. I want to give you some time here. Dennis has an interesting topic here, the demographic of people arrested at the Capitol. We'll get to that coming up at 11:18 with Dennis in Perrysburg. Thanks for holding on, Dennis. 800-859-0957 if you want to get involved. And in the meantime, we'll get you updated on our road situation with Dana Clark. Dana.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
It's a new year, but for kids in poverty around the world, things are still desperate. Join Compassion with your one-time $40 gift to provide a COVID relief kit to a family in poverty. Text the word GIVE to 83393. That's GIVE to 83393.
Traffic First sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Gordon Chevrolet, where buying a car is fun, fast, and friendly. No advertised fake lowball prices, just great service and great pricing. Come home to Gordon Chevrolet on Ford Road, just west of Merriman in Garden City. GordonChevrolet.com. Gordon Chevrolet, find new roads. 96 westbound at Novi Road, a collision blocks a left lane. 696 eastbound east of DeQuinder, accident blocks the right lane there. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Michael Perna and the Perna Team Realtors. Worried if this is the right time to sell your home? It's time to call Michael Perna. Michael Perna with Keller Williams Realty guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline that you agree to, or he'll buy it himself. Call Michael Perna, 844-737-6276, or visit thepernateam.com and start packing.
Snow and snow showers this morning. Still could be some light accumulation. Slick streets and gusty winds making it feel colder. Today, 19 degrees this afternoon. Winter storm warning until noon. And tonight, we'll see it clear out. We'll fall back to 5 below zero. Suburbs even colder. Wednesday, some sun early, clouds later, 21. More snow showers Thursday with a high of 28. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik on News Talk 760 WJR.
Hi, this is Guy Gordon. Michigan weather can be unpredictable and destructive. It can damage our homes, destroying cherished memories. It can damage our businesses and derail.
All right, so I asked before we went to break, with all this snow, most people don't like the snow, especially in quantities like this. It's a hassle, it's cold, it's just a pain in the butt. So, with that being said, Michael says Kentucky. I asked, which state would you rather live in outside of Michigan? I think Hawaii would be tremendous. Let's keep it to the 48 here. So Michael says Kentucky, horse racing and bourbon, not bad. It's a good combo.
Get a bourbon anywhere.
Jim says Maine. Yeah, but Kentucky, that's the altar.
What about you, Chris?
I don't know.
I'd probably say like Montana, so you're far away from people as possible.
That's a good call. I do enjoy some space.
So you could snow blow at all hours of the day.
I could just snow blow constantly. Now I think I think Florida would be nice, except Florida in the summer is miserable.
Yep.
Miserable. And the animals that reside in Florida are just, I don't get it.
Nope.
I don't get the Florida thing. North Carolina is a good call. Mark says North Carolina. That's a good call. I got a friend who lives in North Carolina, loves it. Alabama, probably not Alabama. One of the great things about Michigan is we don't have we don't have hurricanes. We don't have earthquakes. We'll get the occasional tornado, which
rarely
stinks, but it's not. It rarely happens. Knock on wood. We don't have crazy animals that are trying to murder us in different ways. We don't have humidity trying to turn us from grapes to raisins. We don't have any. I mean, and I'm gonna be, kind of like, oh, we get the 4 seasons. I don't mind winter. Like, it doesn't bother me.
No.
So like I
Especially now
enjoy
that you don't have to leave your house.
Well, sure. But I enjoy I enjoy the snow. I love the summers in Michigan are great. Fall in Michigan is unbeatable.
Fall. Yep.
I mean, it's just
spring's a little
great.
short.
Spring's a little short, but I think everybody's in a hurry to get to summer, so it's fine. Short spring is nobody cares. Plus, spring is raining half the time anyway. But like, you can't go to Seattle. It's cold and rainy all the time. I mean, I think anywhere in the South there are animals that will murder you in a moment's notice. I mean, there were dragons in Florida, so like, I'm not about that life. So I don't know. I think we got a good spot here. Nobody wants to live in Ohio. We know that. So I don't know. I'd stick with Michigan.
Arizona's not bad.
I've never been to Zona.
It's nice.
You like it?
Yeah.
What do you like about it? You like the dry heat?
Oh, yeah.
No humidity is good.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR. Now sitting in for Frank Beckmann, here's Chris Renwick.
800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. All right, let's get right to Dennis. I told him to wait. He did. I appreciate it. Dennis in Perrysburg. Good morning, Dennis.
Good morning. I got something to say first. Hey, tell the top people at WJR to hire you as a replacement for Frank, because you do a good job.
Oh, well, that's out of my purview. I'm gonna make sure we send Frank off right. That's my goal, Dennis.
Okay. Hey, my question is, and you're talking to your person there, is, I went to my cell phone, and I have an Apple cell phone. It can give you about anything you want. And I said, how many people have been arrested and who are they? And it was funny because it was a big list, but about a third of them, you've seen the pictures of the people, and the other 2/3, you did not see the pictures. You seen their names, but you didn't see their names. So my question is, what is the breakdown between the white supremacists, Antifa, and Black Lives Matter, or any other group of them kind of people? I've never heard of it. Never heard it on the radio, on TV, or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are. I think that the book is still out on that. I think there's still a lot of investigation that needs to work its way through. Like, it was just late last week where they announced that another person from Michigan was arrested. So I mean, I think they're still working through. I mean, there were you got the guy, the moron, walking off with the podium, right? And he's smiling and waving, and his picture is as clear as day. I mean, like, it's obvious, like the amount of effort and investigation that went into finding who that guy was not really very cumbersome, right? The guy with the horns, there aren't many people with that look. It's probably not that difficult, but with all the other folks in there and trying to figure out what they did and what they didn't do and whatever, I think that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done on that front. That'd be my guess. So I hope my hope is eventually we, maybe in the next few months, we kind of get a clearer picture of who was there.
Yeah. And I think they should have been able to stop it ahead of time. If they would have been smart enough to put just 200 National Guards in front of the Congress, congressional buildings, you think them people would have tried to go through them? I don't think so. I think they're dead in the water.
Yeah,
it didn't take no 20,000 soldiers to do it later on.
No. But look, here's the thing that is curious to me. And again, as the investigation continues, we're going to find out more and more and more. But like, there was that at one point, the coverage found this video of people walking into the chamber, like in a single file line, like between velvet ropes. Like they were just they were calm. They weren't like, nobody was at that point. There was nothing crazy going on. They were just like walking in like a group, like a group of like you're going through the turnstile, like Comerica Park. Like just a bunch of people walking. It was bizarre. And then they're cutting to all this other footage, and like people are going crazy. And it's like, well, what are these people? Who are they? So there's a lot of stuff that needs to sort itself out still and investigate. And again, just last week, we got word that another person from Michigan was arrested. I think that's 3 now that have been arrested in connection to January 6th at the Capitol. So I think that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Interesting question, Dennis. I appreciate it. 800-859-0957. Let's go to Detroit and talk to Tom. Good morning, Tom.
Morning. Doing a good job with the show. I mean, I just had kind of a short comment here, but I mean, until the Republican Party gets unified, they stand for nothing. Okay? At least the Democrats, I mean, as much as I despise their politics and would never, ever, ever vote for one, they are unified. This goes back to John Boehner, Paul Ryan. Remember, give us a House and not we'll repeal Obamacare. Give us a Senate and we'll repeal Obamacare. Give us all 3 chambers and we'll repeal Obamacare.
Yeah, that hasn't happened.
Look at Mitch McConnell. Okay, what a disgrace to America. I mean, he's voting, okay, not to convict him, okay, in a trial, and then he's playing both sides of the fence in simple terms.
Tom, it's an interesting point. I think you make a good point. There is certainly, not even necessarily an ideology separation between the Republicans necessarily. Like Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell probably are pretty lockstep on most things. The interesting thing, though, is when you get to that point, when somebody speaks out against the other, like Lindsey Graham's like, man, Mitch McConnell shouldn't have said that stuff. That's going to come back and haunt us in 2022. That's the stuff that the Republicans need to get a hold of. They need to fix that. Because you look at Ilhan Omar and some of the outrageous things that she says. You don't think Nancy Pelosi is behind the scenes going, what are you doing? Enough. Stop. Enough. She is. I just guarantee it. Because it doesn't look good on her party. But she's not going to do it in the open. That is a difference in the way that these two parties operate. Like leadership in these chambers, like they need to do a better job at keeping everybody in line. And the Republicans have struggled with that. And you start going back to, even when Donald Trump first got in office, there was a certain faction of the Republican Party that rejected Donald Trump. And I think some of them continue to reject Donald Trump, but they do it in a way that it doesn't help them in the long run. 800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. That's the number for you to call or text. I think it's a great point, though. I mean, the parties operate very differently. Like the Democrats are absolutely ruthless in the way that they, at least grind down Donald Trump. I mean, grind him down. The Republicans, I mean, they'll politely disagree, I guess, but nobody's out there killing the Biden administration. Not that I've seen. Not like they did Donald Trump. Let's head on out to Vegas. Talk to Ron. Good morning, Ron.
Hey, good morning.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
I gotcha. How's Vegas?
Oh.
I'll tell you what. Don't even tell me. I got 7 inches of snow. It's frigid. You got no humidity. It's like 75 degrees and beautiful. I don't want to hear it, Ron.
Okay, I'll only tell you that it's 60 degrees and sunny, but there's a breeze.
Fair enough.
I have in my coffee.
All right, so you're cold too. All right, what do you got for me, Ron?
People hate Trump, but there's 2 things about him. Do you want him to teach your kids? Answer is absolutely no in school. Do you want him to run your billion-dollar business? Absolutely yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the business is the United States of America. And number 2, There's 25,000 National Guards there, or so many, you know. And they were able to go through those and pick out who was anti-government, you know, the tweets and the FaceTimes. And why haven't we heard anything about all these 2,000 or 200 guys that were arrested storming the Capitol on the 6th? What is their background? We haven't heard anything.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, look, in terms of Donald Trump's personality, I think, I think a lot of people struggled at this last election to separate Donald Trump's policy from his personality. I think that in the long run hurt him. I think a lot of people can look past his personality because of his policy, and some people just don't like both, so they're ready to move on from him. Some people say that his personality is a bigger deal than maybe others, and so they won't. I mean, like, I think you're right. I think it's up to us as people, parents, or whatever, be like, look, this is not how you always conduct yourself. But what he's doing is, I like what he's doing. That was a difficult thing for a lot of people to come to grips with. Ron, I appreciate the call all the way from Vegas. Thank you. Enjoy your cup of coffee. Have a good one. 800-859-0957. All right, off to the roadways. Get an update there with Dana Clark.
This report is brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
2 accidents popping up in Monroe, 75 northbound north of Dixie Highway. Accident blocking your right 2 lanes. 75 southbound south of Netto Road. 2 left lanes are blocked. 94 westbound west of Oakwood Boulevard. New accident blocking that left shoulder. And disabled vehicle 94 eastbound at Livernois blocks the left lane. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Window World. Call Window World 1-800-NEXT-WINDOW for your window, door, or siding project. Take advantage of 0% financing for 60 months. Window World is America's largest exterior replacement remodeler. Call 1-800-NEXT-WINDOW or visit windowworlddetroit.com for a free in-home or virtual quote. That winter storm warning expected to wrap up in about a half an hour from now. We get cold conditions all day, cloudy skies, a high of 20. Tonight's partly cloudy, your low 5 below. Currently 14 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Marie Osborne in 1 minute.
If you're looking for any kind of new or used vehicle, come see us. Hi friends, Bill Golling here from the Golling Automotive Group, letting you know we have some great incentives going on all February long during our President's Day event. Remember, we have Golling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bloomfield Hills, Chelsea, and Roseville. Golling Alfa Romeo Fiat in Birmingham. Golling Buick GMC in Lake Orion. Golling Toyota in Warren, and our new Golling Kia store in Madison Heights. Since 1966, we've been honored to serve you. Learn more online at golling.com. That's again, golling.com.
The big dig continues in so many areas around the metro area as people are plowing themselves.
All right, here, let's see. North Carolina, Alabama. Yep, Mark, you said that. We had a place there. Weather and people are good. AZ is good as well. My niece lives there. We never found out anything about the Las Vegas shooting. You know what? That's a good point. That kind of went away. A Republican should take a tip from the Democrats' playbook, a la Donna Rice. Blame the insurrection on YouTube video. Oh my. Oh my.
So, Chris,
yeah,
a new bill was introduced in the Michigan House that will allow lottery winners to remain anonymous in Michigan. What do you think?
I think that's a good call.
Why?
I think like in the case here in Novi where somebody won, you're talking about big time money. I don't understand the reason why a lottery winner needs to be public.
To avoid any second guessing of any wrongdoing.
Well, I don't think that there shouldn't be like something in place where the lottery isn't, making sure that this is the right person or investigating or making sure that everything's on the up and up and legit. I just don't think that you need to have a press conference with somebody who just won. How much did that person win?
Yeah.
What was it?
It took home like 400 mil or something like that.
Let me see here. No, because I already forgot. Mega Millions Novi. $1 billion. That was the prize. They'll get half of it.
Almost, yeah, half.
Like I just don't think that. To me, there's something bad waiting to happen. And the other part is a lot of states do that. They don't make people come forward.
Yeah.
And be public. Yeah. So while there should absolutely be, protocols in place to make sure everything is legit, I don't see why they need to be.
Special titled Oprah with Meghan and Harry, a CBS primetime special. It'll be the first time the two will be interviewed.
Yeah. So I don't know.
That's fair.
I like that though. Who's proposing that? Does it say?
Pat Outman. Republican.
Where's he from? Republican?
From Six Lakes.
Six Lakes.
Sure where Six Lakes is.
6 Lakes, Michigan?
6 Lakes, Michigan is in between like Mount Pleasant and Big Rapids, south of both of those, but it's right along 46.
Doesn't
look very big.
I say it's got to be one of those like. Looks like they got a road. One road.
Wow. And there are, get this, there are lakes, and they are called First Lake, Second Lake, Third Lake,
No.
Fifth Lake, and Sixth Lake.
No way.
Yeah, and they're all kind of connected.
Yeah, I see Mud Lake. Little Bass Lake.
Keep looking east.
Oh, there it is. First Lake. First Lake. Second Lake. Third Lake. Fourth Lake. Fifth Lake. And Sixth Lake.
That's great. I wonder if
cool.
you probably got a great like kayaking or tubing.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like
Because they're all connected.
Yeah, the Flat River runs out of First Lake, and runs pretty far, actually.
It does look far.
Wow. It goes.
Interesting. So I'd never heard of 6 Lakes, Michigan.
Yeah, Flat Lake is pretty good
6
size.
Lakes. Let's see. What is there to do in 6 Lakes? 6 Lakes, Michigan.
There's the Flat River Saloon.
Hey now.
And there's an ice cream place called What's the Scoop?
Ooh, good name.
Yeah.
Area Big Rapids got family there. Mark, you like it up there? Is it nice? They've got to have some great water activities there.
248-230-8595. That's 248-230-8595.
That's pretty cool.
The United States has the highest rate of incarceration in the world. At the Equal Justice Initiative, we believe mass incarceration has to end. There is this presumption
Is there a
and guilt that gets assigned to black and brown people. We have to confront our history of racial injustice.
All right. 6 Lakes? What kind of houses do we got on 6 Lakes?
We're waiting for something that feels more like freedom. Truth can inspire change.
Looks like there aren't many houses on Third or Fourth Lake.
No. I'm really looking for like a city website.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR. Now sitting in for Frank Beckmann, here's Chris Renwick.
800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. That's the number for you to call or text. Nick was just telling me in the break that there's new legislation being put out by a representative in the House that would allow lottery owners here in the state of Michigan to remain anonymous. The law in Michigan is if you win the lottery, it's public knowledge. You got to be public with it. So just thinking back to this recent lottery where, this person won $1 billion, although after tax, it'll be like, half that. But they want all this money and they got to come forward. You can't stay, kind of behind the scenes. And I think, as somebody who has never won $500 million or, will take $500 million, I would imagine, I'd want to stay pretty low key with it. I probably wouldn't want my face on the news or in the papers or my name out there. I think it's an interesting thought. To me, I think it makes sense. I actually question why that's even the rule here in Michigan. So maybe they're going to fix it. I don't know. It again makes sense to me. 800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR, the number 4 to call or text. Let's head on out to Dearborn, talk to Perry. Good morning, Perry.
Good morning, sir. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. The largest or number one orthodoxy that President Trump upset was being able to communicate directly with the U.S. population without going through the filter of the liberal media. And I submit to you that the liberal media looks at itself as an unelected legislative body and judicial body. Look at how many people from big tech are in key positions within the Biden administration, being able to formulate policy and procedures of how to move forward in being able to censor political speech. They're going to decide who is qualified to open their mouth and what they say. That's the largest orthodoxy that President Trump upset. You have the liberal media that is the leader of the Democratic Party. Look at the uniformity of message that comes through all the liberal media.
Well, okay. I mean, yeah, I hear you. I that obviously ruffles some feathers. But at the same time, I mean, I like, I'll tell you, here's an example. I just read this on CNN the other day, maybe yesterday. But it was literally about Joe Biden's routine and how he settled into a routine and how every morning he gets up at the same time. He has a cup of coffee with the first lady. He goes down to the Oval Office. There's a fire started in the fireplace for him. Sometimes he throws his own log, because he's relatable. And this was the whole story. And I'm thinking well,
there shouldn't be a log, because obviously do they count how much carbon that is emitting? So it should be at least an electric one. So I'm just looking at, the duplicity and hypocrisy of the Democrats on there. You said the Democrats are ruthless. And for one time you had a plain speaking, equally ruthless Republican, and all hell broke loose. If everybody wants a backbone and some intestinal fortitude to stand up and be plain speaking, my God, he's a New Yorker. Everybody seems to be shocked that New Yorkers are plain speaking on that. They talk about Midwesterners being kind. Well, we're also plain speaking too. We have books that we read here and being able to understand the Constitution and other operational government civics in doing
Perry, but the shocking thing with Donald Trump is that generally, right? I mean, for a long time, we've had politicians that have become president. Donald Trump has never been politician. He's never been in that environment. And so when he got in, it was a little shocking that this guy was just taking that New York mindset that as you say, plain speak, and just that's the new norm. That's what's coming out of the president's office. So it was certainly jarring, but at some point, what are we supposed to do? When you talk about the liberal media, I assume you mean places like CNN, MSNBC, and the like. There's what do you expect them to cover? They're of course going to hop on top of that. It's shocking. So people, that's what they're going to focus on because that's what they think people want to read. They're appealing to a certain demographic. or a certain political spectrum. Meanwhile, now a couple weeks in, not the you know, the fact that Joe Biden hasn't addressed anything about Andrew Cuomo, hasn't said anything about nursing home deaths in the state of New York, you know, where he was born, or excuse me, where he's in the region where he's from. We got nothing on that. Oh, but don't worry, Joe Biden likes to sometimes place his own log on the fire. I mean, there is certainly a bit of a difference in how we're covering things. Maybe there'll be more fierce with it, but certainly not at the moment. 800-859-0957. All right, more of your phone calls coming up next after the break. But first, we'll get an update on our road situation out there, which it sounds like is ever improving with Dana Clark.
Things are definitely getting better out there, Chris, but we do have two problems that just happened a few minutes ago in Monroe, 75 northbound, north of Dixie Highway. Accident blocking your right 2 lanes. 2 left lanes blocked, 75 southbound, south of Netto Road. 94 westbound, west of Oakwood Boulevard. Accident is blocking that left shoulder. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Marathon, for commutes that feel like concerts, road trips that don't go as planned, or long drives that bring you closer together. Marathon has the fuel to keep your engine running at peak performance. For quality fuel through every mile, fill up at Marathon.
Gusty north winds driving in the chilly air. Temperatures not budging much today. The teens this morning, 19 this afternoon with scattered flurries and snow showers. Bitter cold air settling back in tonight. We'll clear it out, go down to 5 below zero. With a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow, looks like we'll get up to 21. Thursday, snow showers 28. From Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik on News Talk 760 WJR.
Rick Edelman, award-winning radio host and founder of Edelman Financial Engines, takes questions on his radio show. Let's hear his answer on long-term care.
Hi, Rick. I'm worried about the cost of long-term care. Should I get insurance?
You're smart to ask, because 1 in 2 Americans
over 65 will need long-term care. But do you need the insurance? It depends.
You find anything else on Six Lakes, Chris?
No. What about you?
No. It's 30 miles southwest of Mount Pleasant.
Whereas you so scared to come in this morning. Call in, they made you come in. Oh, it's snowing. It was horrible this morning. I'm south Big Right. I'm surprised he didn't turn around.
Will you tell him? We're trying to work here.
He doesn't know what work is.
Have you seen what's happening with the stock market? Record highs every day. How long can this possibly go on?
Here we go, Mark. A 1 street town, hardware store, bar, and that be it.
1 street, hardware store, bar, and that's it.
That's all you need, though, right?
I mean, what else do you need? And
A hardware store and a bar.
And you have 6
and
lakes.
And 6 lakes.
It seems to me like that's done. Our aunt worked at the hardware store and saloon. There you go. Yeah,
So where does everyone else work? If his aunt worked at both stores,
right? There
she's taking up
probably
2
isn't a lot of
jobs.
employment opportunities in Six Lakes. In Six Lakes.
Just like the proposed donut tour for WJR, we should do the 6 Lakes tour.
The 6 Lakes tour.
Do 1 lake a day.
Yes, I would be in favor of that.
Yeah.
They'll put us out on a little dinghy, and we'll just float on each lake and do the show.
Michael, 6 Lakes is close to Remus.
The Wheatland Music Festival. Really? Wheatland Music Organization. What is this?
In Remus.
I don't know why.
It's pretty big.
What's that? The Wheatland Music Festival?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's huge.
Actually can't access the website from here.
Yeah, I also can't access the website. I thought that was maybe just me. But the pictures are pretty impressive.
I will say I can't say I've heard of many of the artists.
You have a set list? Hit me with them. Who you got?
In 2019, Robbie Fulks and Linda Gale Lewis.
Oh.
The Mammals.
The Mammals.
Tim O'Brien Band. May and the Motivations.
I don't have any albums from these folks. Remus is another small town for CMU students. Got family there too. And there's the Remus Bar. Of course, the Remus Bar.
Not to be confused with the Six Lakes Saloon.
True. Yeah, they are bitter rivals.
Yes.
That's
it's like the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR. Now sitting in for Frank Beckmann, here's Chris Renwick.
800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. That's the number for you to call or text. Let's get right back to the phones. We'll talk to Warren in Plymouth. Good morning, Warren.
Hey, Chris. Good morning. You're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, a couple of things. You had a caller yesterday who was remarking 14% of the Republicans voted to convict Trump. I don't want to burst his bubble, but 86% who didn't is a lot greater than 14. I don't know what math class he took. So, the other thing is Trump is just a personification of the anger that's out here amongst the general public. He was the face. They needed a face. Republicans would never fight back. They got abused by the Democrats. And people are upset about the hidden money to Iran. Why was it hidden? If it was such a good thing to do, why didn't you publicize it? I mean, the Paris Accord, okay, you want to get back in? Why do we have to pay? Why do we have to suffer the penalties when China and India are going to continue to pollute and use coal like they do? And then the XL pipeline, hundreds, if not thousands of people are going to be out of work from good paying jobs. And the Democrat solution is, we'll give them unemployment and retrain them. What are they going to do in the interim? Did you ever think about that, Debbie and the other Democrats? Apparently not. I mean, there were ways to do this that wouldn't harm so many people. And, they're just ideologues and can't see beyond the nose at the end of their face.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I mean, let's even localize it even further. If the Line 5 pipeline doesn't go through, like the tunnel that they're planning, if that doesn't go through, I mean, you're talking again thousands, and you're talking union jobs. These are people who supported Gretchen Whitmer, who supported the Democrats in this state, and they want no part of it. They want to shut it down, and they want to just bury this idea and bury the plans. And so you're talking about, and again, just at a local level, you're talking about a group of people that want to kill jobs here in the state. With the pipeline out in the plains, you're talking about, I mean, again, you got Canada going, wait a second, hold on, we can't do this. Hold on, wait. No. And they're not happy about it. And believe me, the Canada ain't no Republican, a bastion of republicanism or conservatism. So, for them to even go, wait a second, let's pump the brakes here, let's talk about this, is pretty shocking. No, and you're right. You're right. Donald Trump was, he brought to life what people were feeling. And look, I don't want to get too much into this. We've plowed this field. right? Donald Trump touched a nerve with a huge faction of the American people. So again, my question now and continues to be and will be, is Donald Trump the guy? Is he the end all be all? Like, if he's just a face, right? If he's just the face that was, at what point then do you feel, if you're a Trump supporter, comfortable moving on to another candidate with similar ideas, in terms of your policy? When are you comfortable moving on to somebody else and just leaving Donald Trump behind? I don't know that people are quite there yet. But certainly that's who Donald Trump was and at the moment is. So while coverage of this administration, of this Biden administration, will be different than it was with Donald Trump, Joe Biden is not the same personality as Donald Trump. So a lot of those stories are gone. You're talking about this guy is a career politician, been in the Senate for a very long time, was the vice president. Now he's president after 30 years of trying. And so this guy's going to lay pretty low. I do find it interesting that VP Kamala Harris she's everywhere with him. And I noticed that really for the first time, Mike Pence was always with Donald Trump too, it seemed. Like they were always kind of together. And I don't really remember that being the case. And I guess Joe Biden was kind of always around Barack Obama, but like I don't ever remember like Dick Cheney with George Bush everywhere they went. Like anywhere George Bush went, like Dick Cheney was just not around. But I feel like anywhere Joe Biden is, Kamala Harris is right there. Right there. And it's just interesting to me. And certainly I think, Mike Pence was with Donald Trump more than Biden was with Obama. And now this has taken it. I have not seen Joe Biden anywhere without Kamala Harris. It's just an observation. I mean, there have been a lot of people that said, Kamala Harris is calling the shots. And maybe, I don't know if that really leads any credence to it or not, but it's just an observation I've noticed. I wanted to quickly touch on this too before we run out of time. So this is from yesterday, and we kind of hit on it with our Beaumont interview a little earlier, but I want to get a little more into it. So the state of Michigan yesterday announced that it'll begin distributing vaccines to certain federally qualified health centers to ensure those at high risk of serious COVID-19 complications, racial or ethnic minorities, or people with lower income or disabilities are prioritized for the vaccines. The new program will also prioritize vaccines for mortuary workers, and starting roughly March 1st, 79,000 workers in food processing and agricultural settings. The 41 federally qualified health center eligible under the new strategy will help to vaccinate people over the age of 65 who are in medically underserved areas. Separately, health providers with specific plans to remove socioeconomic barriers to the vaccine will be allowed to request vaccine for those over 60 years old. The new populations and administrators prioritizing for vaccine distributions advance the state's goals for both equity in vaccine administration and a 70% vaccination rate among those over the age of 16. That from the state's chief medical executive, Dr. Joni Kadum. So that just came out yesterday. So just something to throw into the mix. All right, that's going to do it for today. Appreciate your time listening. Have yourself a wonderful Fat Tuesday. Try to limit to one punchki if you can. It's probably best. But, do your thing. All right. Have a great day. 11:56 off to the roadways we go. One last time, get a check up there with Dana Clark.
This report is brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit.
All right. Let's.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
Now you don't like our punchki workers.
What are you talking about?
If you're telling people to only have one punchki, they're not going to buy as many punchkis. So now you're not supporting our punchki workers of Hamtramck.
I'm not saying that you can't keep them for tomorrow.
Yeah.
You
know what a day old punchki tastes like.
It's
like a rock.
2 day old punchkis. You're pushing your luck. Chris and Nick, awesome show. Made my day. Thank you. Another great show. Thanks, Jim. Bill, good show. See you tomorrow. If you're on Facebook, otherwise we're out of here. I emailed you the link to the executive order. All right, Phil. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, that's going to do it for us. Nick, thank you. Nice job.
Chris. Thank you.
And we will we'll talk to you all later. Thanks.
All right.
See ya. Have a